Drivers getting set to go because it's time to go racing. We're happy to have you with us. It's the CKNA Spring Nationals presented by ORP. The juniors start things off for our feature schedule with J.J. O'Neill and Race Beckman on the front row. Daniel Dragunov will start at row 2. A.J. Stoner rounds out the top 4 here.
Going on from there, it's going to be P5, Gavin Dyer. It's Lane Thigpen in the Timmy Tech in P6, Leighton Mull P7, and Jacob Schabel in P number 8.
And we'll have Sawyer Chambers in the top 10. Also, some of the other drivers going to be having a fight like Goulet. Carter Barkas, the driver who won in Winter Nationals, also charging up to the order from 18th position. Watch for that kart here today. Look for the rest of the drivers. We get ourselves ready to go. We're happy to have you with us here today. Charlotte Motor Speedway, the home of America's racing. We're underway from America's home for racing as we are 3-4 wide to start in the back of the field. It's a whole hornet's nest of karts. 50 karts deep, battling it out.
Already a few karts off in the background here. One kart into the tire barrier, trying to get back rolling again, rolling backwards. That's the 148 coming out, and then the 66, I believe, was the other kart off there. So that is not going to be ideal for them here early on. We're not even a lap through, and you can see in the juniors, it's already been 3, 4, 5 wide, but we got a 3-kart breakaway trying to break away up front.
Well, right now, the field trying to get itself sorted pretty quickly. Some of the battles going on amongst the edge of the top 10. But up front, O'Neill is the one who controls things for now. Dyer already up 3, Mull up 4, Chambers up 5 amongst some of the drivers, able to pick up plenty of ground. Drivers like Stoner fell outside the top 10 on that opening lap with some of the passes alone. You can recover with the amount of time you would think, Bradley, but keep in mind, one of the trends before, if you spend too long battling, unless you have a lead fight like this, you might see things really separate.
Yeah, leaders up front here continuing to battle hard here. We've seen some positions. The 825 of Mull already trying to go up past for O'Neill there for P2, because O'Neill shuffled down to 3rd, making O'Neill shuffle down to 4th as Chambers goes through. Up in front, it is Dyer trying to make a run here. He is desperate to try to make a move here, and now Dragunov up the inside, trying to get a pass done on Chambers, trying to complete a round through. Nobody willing to hold any position at all as they go along, and we've already got another kart off there falling back to the back of this pack. It seems like that turn 5 is going to be very interesting there, because out of turn 4 a lot of karts are running wide, so into 5 we're going to continue to see stuff shuffle. Everybody trying to communicate here outside of the top 5 and figure out who goes where for what, and hey, who wants to lead the charge towards the front.
Leighton Mull continues to ride here in this one as they try and make some more shuffles. Dragunov gets the cut underneath O'Neill for good measure. Able to jump ahead to the top 3 as we go. Now, remember, one of the major things talked about yesterday is passing opportunities. You have to make the right decisions here. After all, as he passes along turn 8, turn 10, turn 14 to set up to turn 15, a bit into turn 1 also. So now it's a matter of how do you try and make the precise moment here, Bradley, to make sure you pick the right spot to succeed on said pass?
I think a little bit of it is luck, and a little bit of it is feel, and a little bit of it is just that Jedi mind trick intuition that you can have when you're behind the kart. When you are the kart in the lead right now, like the 405 of Gavin Dyer, you use that Jedi mind trick of, hey, you're not going to get past me easily. If you're the kart behind, use the Jedi mind trick move of, hey, I'm going to just pass you now, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what we're seeing here as we see the kart in 3rd place there. That is Gavin Dyer in the 405 pulling out and around. He's now down into P3, lost 2 spots in one corner there of turn 15. And we see up front Leighton Mull, Daniel Dragunov. They want to try to go through. Everyone looking over the left shoulder there into 5, and then out of 7, they're going to also peek the left shoulder here down the straightaway and figure out who's going to make a move. Look at the signal there in P5. That is J.J. O'Neill giving the very clear signal of, hey, let's get up here, let's get this thing done. I want the lead, help me out, and then we'll fight it out at the end.
You know, the Mull brothers have the ability to be able to set up Well, in these types of situations, it's already a +6 for Layden. Now with that charge up to the lead, some of the other drivers you see having a hard time making the way up from the very back of the field. Some would drop as far as 17 spots, like Christopher Goulet, the biggest driver in terms of passes, is Cataldo, up 14 so far amongst the juniors. Quickly zooming our way through this one. Dragunov in the popcorn seat right now, trying to find a way up front. Dragunov has not led too many laps so far in this year's CKNA Spring Nationals, but has stayed in the conversation. They ride on through at this point. There he goes. He wants the lead. Now it's the matter of can he stick in the lead for a while. Mo hit the curb, able to get back in line a little bit. Some side-by-side popped up from it.
Dragunov says, it's me, hi, I'm the leader, it's me, and works through, and we've got one cart off. That is the 405 of Dyer, off into the tire barrier, drops well down the order, and that was one of your contenders for the win here in Junior Feature, who has now dropped well outside of the top 10, continues to drop well down the order. That is race over for Dyer, hard hit into the tire barrier.
Drop way up in the top 3, by the way, and look at the gap. Chambers trying to work with it for the time being as they work their way around. Now, how hard will it be to close this gap is the question. Because right now, last time through, the pace was a 10th off Dragunov, and that was without even factoring in the craziness we're just seeing.
Let's see here, because as we battle for second, again, you battle side by side there, Chambers and Scheibele. That is going to make a problem for everyone else. But look at the conga line here. It is the crazy train all the way back, and they are ready to go on the hunt there for Dragunov, that 151 cart. They see him ahead. He is just trying to enjoy some air as they go through in that VLR cart, that VLR team, VLR chassis cart, and he wants to make his way through. Let's see how they can work together behind, because if they don't, here with 10 laps to go, none of this matters, and Dragunov can just flow away into the sunset.
Dragunov for Dragon Racing specifically, also part of the VLR Reserve Motorsports in terms of the team registration for this weekend. Drawing things up at the front as Race Beckman in one of the Fast Cats trying to find a way to get ahead in the Marquet. The gap already closed up a fair bit. So for one of the first times, really, we're seeing this main group really trim the gap to a leader who breaks away. It's not easy for Dragunov to hold this gap, obviously, now, because you have Scheibele, you have Chambers, you have Jack Irwin, who are all quick. And last time through, we're a 10th or 2 quicker, at least, to the leader. There they are to the bumper.
Gap is gone. Let's see here what Scheibele can do in that black cart behind with the blue suit. Down the inside, Dragunov has to go wide. He loses 2 places in one corner, and he might be okay with that right now. Half race distance through. You see the look over the shoulder by Scheibele. And now here is the problem. Scheibele is the leader. Everyone behind will have a draft. The decision will come when a pass goes. The 151 looks over, and he knows he's in third. But right now, I don't know that third is a bad position to be in. Especially, we've seen how scrappy the battle on the final lap gets. We've seen how powerful a draft is now when you get enough carts together. If you get out on your own, you're kind of a sitting duck here. So let's see how everyone handles here as we have a 6-cart train. Make it 8 carts there on your front picture. The top 8 all separated there by just over a second.
Scheibele now trying to keep up at the front of the field. 12th last year in the Grand Nationals out in Indiana. Now looking to make sure to get the top step here on the Spring Nats. We'll see what he's able to do here over the next few laps, because right now they look to calm down a little bit. With Dragunov staying in the 3rd spot with experience in Scusa Super Nats, looking to use that experience to make some passes. Chambers still stays the meat of the sandwich as the top 3 all link up bumper to bumper here. They work their way up to 07, now coming up to 8.
Here we go. This is where Scheibele is going to be weakest. He falls 2 places, 1 corner here in 8th behind. They're 2 wide. They almost went 3 wide, but Scheibele very content there to drop to 3rd for now and go behind Dragunov and Chambers. respectively as they go through. Behind, it was a bit more of a shuffle here. Now we've got 9 carts together here into the front as they go through the conga line, the train, however you want to call it, the draft pack. It's here at Charlotte, so you can call it a good drafting pack as they go through. They're looking to channel in some inner NASCAR style, get the draft through, get the pass along. We'll see what can happen here. Lap 12 of 18. It's hard to believe we've already done 12 laps and we're still looking to do some more.
Chambers, one of the RMS machines in the field. Reed Motorsports Connection a couple weeks ago did well in some of the racing action they took part in, a part of some of the other series they do. Remember, that 325 had been your pole sitter in the juniors when it came to the Grand Nationals last year also. Chambers trying to maintain the pace up in front, but they still have about 5 or 6 more laps to be able to think about where these moves are going to come into play here. Keep in mind, some drivers in this pack connected as far back as the top 9 still loosely connected if you go back to Beckman and Thigpen.
Here's the problem too, nobody wants to be the person to break out of line and break up the pack. Everyone wants to hold on right now. They've seen all day how powerful the draft is. Here we go again. How many people can get past Sawyer Chambers in the front? He loses 2 places, make it 3 places. Is it gonna be more as we go 2 by 2 into 9? Here we go, the left-hander of 10. Is there a dive for the lead there from Scheibladen? There's not, but look there, the 825 of Leighton Mole in the mix there, shuffled out of line. And what happens when you shuffle out of line? Well, it's the same thing that you see in any sort of NASCAR super speedway racing. You go down the order and you get hung out to dry until you can get back in line. So as we cross the line there, you can see everything shuffles. Dragunov, Scheibladen, Chambers, Mole, and JJ O'Neill, your top 5 as they go through. Who's the fastest car on track though, you might be saying? Well, it's that P8, number 12. It's Laney Thigpen, who is currently the fastest car on track.
Last time through was a 10th quicker than the race leaders. That's why Thigpen closed up to Jack Irwin, some side-by-side popping up. Chambers pushed up against the rumble strips. Leighton Mole makes the move. Mole jumping up into the top 3. O'Neill wants 4th back for good measure. Also, and it's an off track. That's a squeeze off in turn 12. We've already talked about some corner cuts that have popped up in that section this weekend. See what happens with that circumstance. As that's broken up the pack, there's a look at the use your head signal from Jason Burgess.
Here we go, coming through around turn 1 and 2. Everyone trying to shuffle their way along and trying to get back into that single file run. That's what they need to do to keep battling ahead, but they are battling in with themselves, which again, we've talked about how detrimental that can be. And now look what we've got. We've got 2 and 2. And who was that with the massive karate chop forward? Well, that was Sawyer Chambers in P5, and you can see the clear goal here.
Just got a bulletin from the penalty system to race select 825. Leighton Mole, avoidable contact on lap 5, would finish behind Kart 405. That is dire on that situation. 4 penalty points going the way of that Kart. And that is huge because Mo is in the top 3, would shuffle Mo well to the back half of the order potentially as a result of that situation. So that is a huge shuffle to keep an eye on for the podium spots.
Here's some other stuff that we haven't looked at as well. All of the tram line violations from the first lap. I hadn't caught this before. The 241, the 33, the 41, the 6, and the 637 all picking up tram line violations with various amounts of position loss at the end of the race here to come for them. And unfortunately, that is going to be a big problem for them later. We've got big shuffles in the mid-pack here going through. Great battles all the way around, and we'll have to see for that 825 what happens. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go is the signal here. I would imagine this 2x2 here up in the front is going to very quickly close up into a 4-part race in the end.
This is getting to the point where for many of these drivers it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking. There, one of the drivers just picked up a corner cut. Paulie D. Hart just got a 3-second time penalty. But right now, time is of the essence. If you're Scheibladen, where do you make the move? Chance to get the opportunity. O'Neill unofficially in the podium positions late as we come up to the white flag, this time by Right now, the battle for what is the top 4 also stuck together. No move for the lead yet. Dragunov looking back, looking to set things up through 2, looking to hold on through 3.
Scheibele giving a very clear indication down the main straight of stop looking at me, look ahead, get away from P3. We don't want to lose out on any of these top 2 places. I don't want to worry about O'Neal behind in P3 in the Nitro Kart. Let's just go and you and me can make it a battle. Now here's the thing, Scheibele's smart, Scheibele's thinking behind. Look at the defense back in the back for P5 there from Chambers. That's a big move down through from Mole and Chambers, 4th and 5th respectively. They're going to go side by side through as we come through turn 10 here. Dragunov, Scheibele, they still don't have a move. What point does Scheibele pull out? Here it goes, Justin.
Coming up to the final corner, Scheibele trying to get the cut, tries to get aerodynamic, but it's Daniel Dragunov coming up to the line. He celebrates, it's Dragunov who gets it.
Half a tenth of a second. Scheibele is behind Dragunov. That was a very close run there as our field of 50 karts continues to come across the line, but Dragunov very clearly going with Scheibele, and Scheibele thinking, I've seen this all weekend, turn 15, dive it to the inside and go. It wasn't enough though, half a tenth there. JJ O'Neal in 3rd, Sawyer Chambers in the Reed Motorsports kart in 4th, Laney Thickpin and Timmy Tech 5th, Leighton Mole 6th, Jack Erlin, Schneider, Stoner, and Barkus round out the top 10 here.
Right, Beckman just outside of it. Paul Harness said going to be a time penalty. Knutzi down in 15th of note. Mike Dinner also down in 18th. Max Hudman among the top 20 unofficially. Remember, though, the penalty situation potential for the 825 will see them shuffle with one of the carts going to be well down behind that. 405 is 25th. Gavin Dyer was where he shuffled just in front of Christopher Goulet, a teammate. And in turn, they're going to get split up on the overall results. Cooper Mole, very quiet race in 34th for comparison. Jonathan Moore, who was a very fast driver in the heats yesterday, ended up 33rd, shockingly, over the course of that one. Some of the drivers for the LCQ stayed towards the tail with the 50 kart field. Look top to bottom of the unofficial race results. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we hear from drivers and hear some more karts coming up here on KC.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Champions are
friends pushed until the end and survived the last lap.
And when we came back out here, as you were going through scales, I saw some of your other VLR teammates out here cheering for you. And I just want to know, who do you want to thank for this win?
I want to thank VLR, all the guys who support me. I want to thank Timmy from Kinetic. I want to thank my parents for supporting me and all my friends.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so we heard happy words from your winner in junior moments ago. The legends are about to put together some happy performances, at least you would think, on the racetrack, as in they look to do well on the circuit. Todd Bolton and Todd Barrett on the front row. James Perkins and Ron Kleiss are in the top 4 for this run through.
From there we go Eli Yanko, Don Newman, Jeff Calmers, and James Insco, the top 8 here for the day.
Tim Hannon starts down in 9th. Ron Clenard down in the 10th spot. Then you switch the page to Mike Todd and Terry Downs.
From there, past Terry Downs, we go Rodrigo DeFrancisco. We saw great racing from him yesterday. Dan Fryer, Tim Stiefel, and Doug Cook rounding out the top 16 here today.
Across the score loops, Wayne Hartzlick will start in 17. Brent Estes in 18. Steve Lyons and Jeff Sterling are scored in the top 20. A part of the result sheet. You see some of those drivers as they shuffle here on the board. Drivers like Flint and Clark look for a little bit of a charge. We have 34 carts, mind you, that are on your entry list here today. See the rest of the field scroll. Keep in mind, drivers like JD Gunn might be contenders for big charger of the day. 27th starting spot for a cart that was up inside the top 5 for some of the racing yesterday, before you broke down the point structure. So we get ready for our second final of the day. And it looks like the field going to take this nice and slow. Jason Burgess waits patiently. Make the way through. And they didn't like the angle there. You see with the speeds, multiple hands up. And they'll try that again. That almost looked like a little too slow, maybe. Almost like a tick slow on the eyeball.
It's very rare to have a too slow start, so that is one of those that when you do see that happen, it kind of catches you off guard, because usually the issue we see in most classes is they go too fast. They go way too fast through the tram lines. They get a jump one lane over the other. So interesting to see that moment there that they just didn't. There was something the officials didn't like what they saw, and I'm kind of with you. I don't know if it was too slow from there or if it was just the line's not even enough.
So let's find out how this plays out yet again. Again, our second final of this afternoon. Just past noon here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Get the roll this time. Back on up, Burgess waits with the flag and got it. Green, green, green. And not a great start for the outside line. Todd Barrett losing a couple spots already as the rest of the field works their way through sector 1.
Todd Barron dropping the order significantly here early on. Todd Bolton, though, bolting away there, and James Perkins will perk up at what seemed to be a very good start for him. Look at the tuck of the helmet there as we go along. Everybody's shuffling out 2-3 wide down into turn 8. Again, one of several passing zones. If you can make that work to the inside, if you have enough left in the tires to do so. And look at this. It is Todd Bolton, it is James Perkins, it is Ron Kleiss, your top 3 here as they come across. 4th place there, Eli Yanko trying to find a way to close through a little bit.
Yeah, good start for the top 5, up to 3rd for the Canadian driver. Perkins provides the pressure on Bolton. We talked about the storylines during the warm-up when it came, or rather not during the qualify, I should say, when it comes to 22 yesterday with Bolton. Had multiple different issues coming here, including speeding penalties or speeding tickets in one state, a blown tire in another state. Sun also racing over the course of the weekend, actually confirmed on social media that yesterday had raced with the fuel cap off and loose for one of their heats. It's been a busy time for both the Boltons, to say the very least. But for Todd, he's been contending up at the front and controlling things in this class all weekend. He has looked strong in that purple and white suit.
Can we talk about the fact that between 7 and 8, Todd Bolton is nodding his head yes. And I can't tell if he's trying to signal let's move forward or if he's nodding yes as in he's very happy at where he's at and he's just feeling good. Either is an option, either is awesome. This is one of those moments where you look and you see the drivers lock into a place. They're really feeling it. Does he do it again this time? He tucks the helmet a little bit, not as much of a head nod yes. It looks like very clearly Bolton and Perkins are gonna work together here. I think they understand much more so than any other class here today so far. Get a big gap before you go for a charge.
I almost wonder if he's just looking at the Micron or something along those lines. Just keeping a little nod to look at the gauge, make sure everything's good, steady on out. See right now a little nod there with the gauges as well. A little bit of a stand though for Barron. Gets him passed by the CKNA Canadian Division driver. Able to get back to the top 3. Keep in mind, Barron we know has long run pace. It's just the short run for the 01. That's been the challenge on these tires. And remember, these tires, to say the least, they've turned somewhere around, when you add up on the laps, more than 30 plus laps, including warm-ups, you can say at the very least a lot of time on those rubber.
Absolutely, and they have to get to the end of this race. That is the big problem here for them, is how do you save those tires to the end of this race? What do you have left in the tank to give? And even on a physicality standpoint, you know, it's been a very demanding weekend. All of the runs that we did on Friday, all of the racing yesterday, going all the way to 9 p.m. yesterday, from 8 a.m., the first warm-up yesterday, all the way to ending the last event at nearly 9 p.m. I mean, then you've got to jump out today. We lost an hour of sleep last night. There's a demand on the equipment and on the driver, and I would argue that this weekend here at Charlotte, especially with time change, might be a greater demand than some of these drivers have felt in a while.
Especially if you're, say, some of the drivers here that have traveled a long way in the first place. In a couple of cases, had some time zone change, some jet lag, if you will, in terms of trying to deal with that also. Take a look at some of the others. Hands raised popping up for Insko. Insko, by the way, -4 in the early going of this one. Looking to finish out solidly in this fight as he follows on behind the blue card of Downs. Downs, for reference, about 11th. Back and forth they continue.
Battles keep going back and forth. Fastest car in the field. Fastest lap owned by Doug Cook. Fastest last time around was James Perkins, though, so I'm curious to see how that continues to work through up and down the field accordingly. Some up a couple, some down a couple. Cook is up 6 places, and I see Gunn back there gunning it forward. The number 14 car in 18th place, up 9 places here on the day, continuing to try to make moves and go through and see if they're able to go here. Terry Downs looking very, very confident as well, looking to make a move through. The number 16 car is going to continue to push his way along as well. Cook trying to cook something up in the kitchen of Charlotte.
And I mean, there's a variety of options for kitchens, as in you go to a condo, you can find a kitchen there possibly, maybe in the campground also. But in all seriousness, this field has been cooking with some solid tempo, running everyone for the most part within the 48-second bracket. And they're off track. Heel off the circuit. Cost some ground this time for one competitor up towards the front. That was Cook. That is no longer going to be cooking for now. He'll be trying to find a way to warm things back up. Everyone else getting shuffly in the back like Gunn, and others up front getting a little bit blocky like Todd.
I got to think for Cook, that was a Kevin's famous chili moment. I complimented it, and then, well, you see what happened there. That is why you have to be careful when you're cooking. Make sure you have proper equipment and proper safety standards in place. Because sometimes you can spill the chili on the carpet and it's a bad day. Watching the 14 here continue to battle along against the 55. This is a great battle back. This is Hanslick and Gunn trying to gun his way forward. Can he get past Hanslick? Will it be a slick pass past Hanslick? It will be down the inside of 8, just as we've seen all day. The wave there of thank you very much, and that is through. The 14 now goes through 9 and 10, and the 14 will move up to P15 here past the Coyote as he looks to continue his charge through the field.
That Camp Chaos machine really carving its way through the field. Double duty for JD Gunn after all. Made mention from previous years, he had issues with bent axles that impacted his kart, not just in Legends, but also Masters when it came to the spring nets. Now, looking to try and find a way up forward. Mind you, all of this as well, it's Coyote versus CRG up front. Bolton versus Perkins, still bumper to bumper. Perkins has done a phenomenal job building this gap over Barron yet again. For Barron, he's been losing about 0.2 a lap on average. They're running 48 fours up at the front. To the rest of the field, 48 sixes and sevens.
We'll see here, crossed flags, halfway signal, 9 laps down, 9 laps to go in your 18-lap run. Will we see a Todd-on-Todd fight at the end with James Perkins playing a referee here? That's going to be a big question. I'm curious to see that black, purple, white suit there. Where can Todd Bolton try to find some more time here as they go along? This is going to be an exciting one here, Justin, and it's crazy to think we're only halfway through.
Absolutely. Have someone standing on by. Let's go trackside for an interview.
Hi, thanks Justin. I'm here with Jacob Scheidley, our second place winner, or second place position finalist in the junior class. Jake, tell me a little bit about that race. How was it for you?
Well, I started 8th and it was a mess at the start, but then I eventually got hooked up with Danny and I just wanted to push him and just keep going because I knew that if we didn't, we would have got past and I could have ended up going farther back.
And I know that there's some pretty important people that you did this race for. What were your motivations? What kept you going?
Well, first we'd like to thank Paulie, Brandon, and James Overbeck for coaching me and getting me to where I am today. I'd also like to everyone to say a prayer for my uncle. His name is John, he's 42 years old and he has stage 4 colon cancer and he's a fighter. I know he's going to be okay, but we could really use the extra prayers in this time.
Well, congratulations on your second place, and we'll definitely pray for your uncle. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Grace Overbeck, down trackside there for that discussion. Obviously, with the message we already talked about earlier on to the end with the Warren family, a lot on this thing for many of these era competitors, also too with similar connections across the karting community. In terms of the race itself, though, here, Bradley, look at some of the air battles. Yakko has slipped on back. The 7 is up to 4th, and look who's joined them. It's the 12 of Chalmers right on the doorstep also.
Good move there from Ron Kleiss to dive down the inside, as we've seen time and time again, as you do, and make his way through and along. It's a great move from him there. The 470 of Eli Yanko now in the mix. You see the little jump there, trying to get just that little bit of extra speed there. Eli Yanko out of that number 470, and the 7 of Ron Kleiss doing the same thing there, trying to get a little bit of extra speed in the kart if possible. One of the things to watch with them is, do they battle? Do they work together? What's going to be their goal? They have a considerable gap that they would need to close to that 01 of Barron there, who is already going through turn 8. It's 3 seconds the gap through right now. It's a tall ask there. It's not impossible from that Coyote, but it's a tall ask nonetheless for the Legends here to close it up. The biggest thing that would help them is a good battle from the top 3, but right now the top 3 seem like they've settled into the rhythm. They've found the flow. Feel the rhythm, feel the ride. Come on now, it's go-kart time for the final few laps here of the Legends.
13 laps complete on lap 14 now. As we turn right now, most part, the field looking to finish up their good runs over the course of the weekend. Now, keep in mind, over the course of this run, it's the big thing of, will you be able to make sure there's no anything top of the penalty board? Remember, one thing to mention when it comes to penalty board so far, when it comes to Legends, they've kept it pretty clean in that regard so far over the course of this weekend. They've had no issues over the course of this race, so no one's been in the naughty box. Let's go. He's been doing solid again. Able to get back to where he was running before in the low-key racing machine. You can see the difference in some of the competitors where sometimes you have a full driver's suit, and then you have Itzko who's driving in jeans.
As long as it passes tech and as long as you're comfortable, I don't I don't see the harm with it. I mean, it's a great way to show up. It goes to show you can kart at any run. You don't have to be backed by the top teams. You can show up and show out, pass tech, and have a great run here and get yourself on a broadcast showing out how well you can run. That is one of those things that I really enjoy about karting. Again, we've talked about it a lot, how tight the community is, how much of a family affair it can be. You'll see the same names up and down every division of karting at a weekend, and sometimes you just end up with somebody here in Legends in jeans, in a jacket, who passes through and is going to have a great run. It's all the proper safety equipment. It's not the fancy suit, but doggone, sometimes it doesn't matter how well you look. It matters how well you race.
I think some of your Kentucky popped up there in terms of the last statement, but we go on all this. Look at some of the driver shopper. Burr and Flint among those who just fell down the run order. Those two are bumped down to the bottom end. You look into the final 2.5 laps. Looks like hand raised. Something happening here. JD Gunn will pass by Todd, who has an issue. Todd just peeled on off. A couple drivers going straight off the racetrack with some issues in the closing stages here.
That is not ideal at all with just coming into 2 laps to go. That is heartbreak city to see right now. And again, we talked about it. Your Sunday started off with some heartbreaks there of drivers trying to make it through the LCQs into finals for some of our divisions. We didn't get any heartbreaks in Legends during warm-up. We find the heartbreaks here in qualifying. Todd pulling off and Hannon pulling off as well. That is 2 karts out of this 34 kart field, and that is going to mean that they will not have a finishing position here in Legends on track after 18 laps. They will be DNFs on the run. Up front, Bolton Perkins. Well, they're still sitting 1 and 2 right now. Todd Bolton still trying to bolt his way around here as we come in 2 to go.
Coming up to 1 lap to go. Bolton looking to make sure there's no mistake. White flag is out final time around. Barron did close up rapidly that time by. Might be too little. Might be too late though. Coming on through the opening sector. See Tom Bolton race in a lot of these events. Cross country, likes to race in some of the major events out in Illinois, as well as popped up in some of the street action there. Bolton has been competitive. He's been a contender when it comes to series like the Summer Nationals as well. In Cup Karts, also was one of the big names as a front runner in last season's Grand Nationals. Now as he works his way to the final sector, he looks to add a Spring Nationals win to his record. Coming through the final corner, Bolton rumbles his way through. Nothing else he needs to do except celebrate. Todd Bolton wins in Legends.
Great finish there. Second place, James Perkins, and Todd Barron was able to close up right on the back, a 10th off of P3. A great run from him there to close that gap up for Todd Barron. Started second, finished third. Of course, that's not going to be ideal for him, but in the end, still, he closed it back up from what could have been a much worse run. Ron Kleiss in 4th, Eli Yanko 5th, Jeff Chalmers in P6, Don Newman P7, James Insko P8, Terry Downs rounds out P9, and Doug Cook was your 10th place kart with the RRD Rogic Racing Development kart.
Then you also have JD Gunn on the charge today. As said, well, it's going to be one of those contenders for it. 16 spots gained. Del Francisco, Steinfeld, Lyons, Estes in the top 15. Then you have Sterling down to 16, one of the contenders in the Winter Nationals. Hanselick will be in 17th amongst those drivers. Some of the others on the DNF list, though. Mike Todd, as mentioned, peeling on down. Tim Hannon down in 29th position. Some of the notables there. You also had drivers like Ron Leonard on the last tab have issues. He was the first driver to peel off the racing circuit as a result of attrition. Timothy Clark and Don Osmus didn't get the chance to roll in that one. 2 finals complete here, Bradley, as we continue on. Your thoughts here as planes fly above and we fly through our schedule.
This has been such a good race all the way through top to bottom. I love this. We're going to send it down trackside. Let's hear from an interview.
I'm here alongside a very excited Todd Bolton. Todd, tell me about that race. I mean, you led every single lap from the very beginning to the very end.
Yeah, James and I, we're good buddies. We've raced each other since like 97, 98, early 2000s in the Man Cup, and he and I talked before the start. The key was to try and run a slow enough start that he could push me through and he'd get through with me, and then the two of us were just going to push and get away. And I looked up on like lap 2, and I seen him behind me, and I was like nodding my head, and then I saw we was getting a gap, and I was like, yes, keep pushing. And then like 2 to go, I looked back and I saw I was gapping him a little bit, and I was like, okay, just put in your laps, and I did it, and redemption from Grands.
And I want to talk to some of our most experienced drivers out here on the racetrack. What does it take to win at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Charlotte Motor Speedway is not an overly technical track. It's a really fast and flowy track. So you just got to get a really good rhythm going and just keep it flowing and not make any mistakes. And like, I've looked at my data all weekend, going back, downloading it, and looking at my standard deviation. And in Sector 1, Sector 2, and Sector 3, my standard deviation is less than 1/10 of a second. So I'm doing my job. The go-kart did its job. I can't thank Jim from Coyote. Micron Mike was here earlier this week from AIM Sports. Got to thank him. Wiggity Wayne, my mom and dad, my wife, my kids. It's awesome. I got Wiggity in there. So.
Well, there you have it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So interesting interview situation there. Exciting driver, exciting race. Coyote, senior heavy though, ready for its race. We are going quickly through the schedule. It's time to get going for this field. Ready to go, just about. They'll allow us a chance to be able to look at the grid here with a regroup. Sean Meyer will start on the pole. Owen Lloyd, triple duty this weekend. Second, Chris Carroll in third. And the Cosmic Heblo will round up the top 4.
From there we go Brock Knowles, Nicholas Kiefer, Josh Steifel, and Nick Sobiek P8 here.
You also look at the rest of the grid as it scrolls down. Drivers like Jed Perkins down 12th of note. Then it is going to be Hunter Bolton down to 15th. He's expecting a winning pace. We'll keep an eye if he's able to back up his words. Jack Sakina. Mitch Sakina is in this field down 22nd of note. Some of the others will have to dig. Green. We're underway. Good start this time by the 30. They run their way on through the opening corner. It's Meyer who holds on in front. Lloyd and company doing well in terms of some of the arm battles as they continue to scrap. Lloyd actually getting shuffled out through 5.
Lloyd getting shuffled and shuffled some more there. And that is unfortunate to see here early on for Owen Lloyd, but we'll see if he can fight it back through and continue to try to find a way along. Still some more shuffling through turn 8, through turn 9. One kart off into the gravel and back through. One kart facing backwards, and not a good ideal moment there for them.
At the very least, if you spin on the opening lap, yeah, you have a chance to recover, but it's going to take a lot of digging to be able to get out of that hole that came from that. First lap, Meyer, Carroll, Lloyd, Hemlo, amongst those in the top 4 so far in this one. They rumble the way through. 36 karts made the start here today. Remember, this series, or this class, did have that rule change when it comes to the weight we talked about over the course of the weekend. We've seen how some of the competitors have been able to withstand that, and others have been able to adapt to it. As we see some of the other drivers send into the back. This top 3, amongst the competitors we've seen for multiple different classes that pop up. Meyer, Carroll, Lloyd. A lot of hornet nesting though outside the top 10.
Yeah, the 2 Coyotes, P1, P2, and then the South Georgia Karting MGM kart of Lloyd in third. They continue to battle it along here, and we'll see how this goes. Is back further through the field side by side. That is the number 13 that you see in the mix. Brock Knowles, who is going through. We've got a lot of good side-by-side racing here just outside of the top 5, and they continue to try to shuffle it through, find single file, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact as they come through 5, 6, 7. Here we go. Let's see what they can do heading down the run towards turn 8.
They all rumble their way on around the track. As you see, it's now a 5-car breakaway. As we see the 23 amongst those who have joined in on the battle to figure out what they can do here. Early on in the run so far, they make their way through. What now the question will be, will this be one of those be patient and think about this type of moment? already expecting to intensify here. Keep in mind, 2 of the drivers on the pack are teammates.
Yeah, this is where things get interesting because now we've got the teammates split up. Meyer, Lloyd, Carroll, the order as they come through. You've got Sobiek and Hevlo there behind. Hevlo a little bit behind. We'll see if he can heave his way forward with a little bit of help of Slipstream, tucking the helmet down behind the steering wheel and try to get up into the mix here with the top 4. The top 4 really would love to break away here, but I don't know that they can take a chance, take a change, and break away as they go through and along. We'll see here as we continue through 14 into 15. Right now it looks like Meyer looking to shop a little bit and just hang out in the front.
And just doing a good job, just riding out at the moment. Lamota up those, trying to ride and close up some gaps. Stewart amongst those back there, keeper. Also in that second pack. Those drivers right now double tenths behind per lap though on the average. Right now they're running 48 6s and 48 4s in the lead group. This group in the carts you see right here, right now as low as the 49 flats. A little bit of a shuffle this time. Stewart gets to see the passive build up in front. And once again, a swap around. We'll see him in fact make that move as a result there. Stewart trying to gain a little bit of ground there as the leaders still stay nose to tail.
Yeah, leaders going through. One of the biggest heartbreaks so far of the race is Josh Stiefel all the way down into 24th place. Bryce Downs has lost 11 places down into 28, and Quentin McPherson is down 12 places into 33. Some of the biggest heartbreaks here of the day far. You got to feel for them here. The first lap not going their way, and they are on the recovery charge as they go. Top 4, though, still sitting nose to tail here in senior heavy as they go along, and they continue to push their way through this 15-year and older class, the 390-pound minimum weight limit, and your chassis can weigh no more than 210 pounds as race. So what does that mean? If you got to hit both those numbers somehow, your cart can't be more than 210, but you still got to find 390 pounds in total. So that makes an interesting place here for the heavy, but it does mean that there's a lot of good competition that comes into this class here as we go through. Owen Lloyd, fastest lap of anyone last time around, but is still right on the back of Sean Meyer here, trying to get a pass.
Meyer looking to add to what is a multiple-time Spring Nationals resume. As said, one point was up to 3 done by 2023. Looking to add to those numbers, to say the very least, because he's been able to win so many times here, has been running for so many years, raced in the Gold Cup Nationals at one point, back in the 2010s, been efficient on his line. As you see the 9 of Cal Stewart is trying to find a way to dig. He was able to hold on to the spot for now, but the problem is the second pack is not in the same ballpark compared to these carts down the front straight away. The difference between them through the scoring loops, still 2/10 a lap, and you can't make that up unless you make some drastic adjustments to how you handle the cart.
Yeah, 2/10 a lap is a major ask to find out of nowhere at the tail end of a race weekend. So not saying that he's not trying, but he's definitely a cork in a bottle right now, and we'll see here what can happen and who becomes the genie in the bottle as they try to make their way forward here. Further back, we've got some great battles here just outside of the top 10 to watch as they go through and along. One cart going a little bit wide there as we watch them continue to fight for positions all up and down the field. Just because they're not up in the front of the field doesn't mean they're not trying, doesn't mean they're not battling, and doesn't mean they're not racing real hard for position here.
Yeah, they are really trying to get the best of a finish they can and say, I did this weekend. Of course, the higher up you go, the better it is for your social media numbers. I'm joking, of course. But all this is while we're coming up to halfway through this run order. The cart from MGM really trying to stick together here. The on and amongst those in the heart of the field. Well, the Skinas also. The conversation moments ago also. You see a couple of these carts trying to find a way to charge ahead. The tough thing is for some of these drivers like Sonnet, you know you've got a fast car, you've been able to dial it in, you just didn't get the key finishing position to back up those words. 17 spots for that 381 we're just keeping an eye on so far today in the span of half a race.
Yeah, Yeah, the 381, the MGM kart, has a fast kart and a ticket to Charlotte here at least, trying to find a ticket to the front of the field, a ticket to get some extra positions if possible. We'll see if he can make a deal, because that would be pretty amazing to see some more positions gained there for Maxwell Sonnet as he tries to close the gaps and make his way along. Up at the front of the field, again, we see 2 and 3 kart breakaways continue here in senior heavy as they come along here. Again, focusing back around the 948, Owen Mall here, Christopher Mitchell, Matthew Turner, Maxwell Sonnet leading that charge as they go along. Everyone just really trying to settle in here. 8 laps to go. Nobody wants to be the one to really make a crazy move and compromise position, because again, as we've talked about all weekend, Justin, as we've learned, you make one wrong move and you can cost yourself and the kart you're battling with multiple places, possibly a podium.
And you would end up having a big discussion afterwards, probably, as we see how things break down up front. Lloyd planning his next move. Remember, we talked about this when it came to Winter Nats. Lloyd dominated out in Jacksonville. That's the understatement. Was able to control that class all throughout the time there. Was also controlled this type of racing in Apex Karting Championships all throughout that season. Those drivers have their final round of the Southeast portion of the schedule in a couple weeks' time. Lloyd just trying to maintain what's been a stellar beginning of 2026 for him when it comes to the style of racing, and carry it forward to all those other classes where he has been a top 5 threat every single senior class.
When you see someone so consistent, so strong up in the front, you know that there's pressure to put here. That Coyote kart of AJ Meyer, though, or Sean Meyer, sorry, has looked so fast all the way through. Now, wouldn't be surprised, though, if Meyer can really keep a charge here with Lloyd and probably give him a run for the money. It's never guaranteed. You never know until the racing is done, but it's certainly something that he can look to have a move on as they cross the line. Another lap led here for Meyer, and Lloyd still in second place, sitting right where they were here in senior heavy, looking at the run they want to get past 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Soviet, Carroll, and Hevlo trying to find their way along and forward. Soviet got 5 places on P3, 2 more places to get up for the win here in senior heavy.
2 more opportunities to be able to go, to say the very least, as they continue to find their way around. Our Chargers still on your board as we keep an eye on the top card. You see your settles. Now your biggest mover in the top 10 of 7 spots. What you can say is Clay didn't settle for spots here today. He tried to make the charge, and we've seen him be pretty racy today for one of the high school students being able to carve their way through this pack over the course of the weekend. Has done well, clinched victory overall in U.S. EKS competition also, and also got some experience with wins on the SCUSA Pro Tour.
Yeah, he's a driver to keep an eye on here as he works his way forward there. Clay Settles will have a great run through as he will continue to push his move. Up front, Lloyd and Meyer just very much staying where they're at. They're not looking for anything crazy. They've swapped spots right now. We'll see here if anything crazier can go along, because when you swap spots sometimes that can just sort of set things up. You see that gap, 3rd, 4th, 5th, it has closed a bit. It was 7/10 last time across the line. As they cross the line this time, what's that gap going to come to? Gap is still 3/4 of a second, so I'm going to negate my own sentence, and what I will tell you right now is that it does look like Soviet, Carroll, and Hevlo, they are trying to find their way forward. It looked like that gap had been closing. I have a feeling that Lloyd and Meyer probably just trying to find that extra gear and disappear.
Here we go in terms of this situation. Coming up to 3 laps to go here at Concord, North Carolina. Right now, Lloyd keeping a steady wheel, looking fairly relaxed. Meyer a little bit more twitchier, if you notice some of the hand motions and the arm motions right now to set up these corners. They try and get the flow down right for the front straightaway. Meyer yet again staying lockstep. By the way, you did mention the close up that 103. Now with that 3-car pack, been able to pull away, mind you. They built up 3 seconds to be able to battle it out for the podium positions. The rest of the field will scrap it out for some top 10 finishing orders as the leaders make their way to the back straightaway.
See here the Cosmic Kart of Hevlo there, 5th in that line, was looking quick, was trying to find a move, and unfortunately into turn 8 wasn't able to. But look at how this pack has absolutely splintered along. Groups of 3, groups of 2. You have to get all the way back near the top 20 to really see large groups of karts form here. That is just the way this senior heavy main event has gone. 2 to go is the signal here as we go down, and here we go. There's that Cosmic Kart of Jake Hevlo, fastest lap of anyone last time around. We'll see if he's able to make a move along. He's certainly gonna go for it, and let's see, he makes the move. Jake Hevlo up into P4, but what did that cost them on Sobiek in 3rd? It cost a pretty big gap. Can he close it though?
Yeah, the question is, can Sobiek hold on amongst that top 3, or rather shuffle amongst the top 3? Here we go for the leaders. Lloyd starting to feel a bit of pressure, going for a block. Meyer looking for a setup. Coming up to the final time around, the 119 continues to run. The low lines compromise speed out of the lanes, but there's the cross. Meyer looks to pull him alongside. Coming up to the final time around, Meyer makes the pass.
If you're Meyer, though, do you want to lead the entire final lap? Because here's the problem. We know the big passing zones are coming, and this is where you might have set yourself up for going for a pass too soon. You've got to defend the entire final lap now, through 6, through 7. We go, holding on so far. There it is. He's going to compromise the inside line. Looks over the left shoulder, trying to find Lloyd. He didn't find him. Looks to the right shoulder, found Lloyd. Right now, through turn 9, they hold on here side by side into 10. Inside is Meyer, outside is Lloyd. Inside is Meyer, outside is Lloyd. Side by side, they stay.
Here we go to the final corner. Ascend Meyer looked inside, didn't send a deep though. Lloyd comes out of the final corner. He won in the winter. He wins in the spring. It's Lloyd who takes the checkered.
What a great run from Lloyd and Meyer there, and you saw again how much that gap closed. Sobiek in the end only 3/10 off. He was over a 1.5 down at one point. Jake Hevlo heaving that Cosmic Kart into P4, and Chris Carroll, the other Coyote, in the top 5 there, finishing out the top 10. Stewart, Settles, Svoboda, Kiefer, and Knowles.
You also had drivers such as Puntington Bolton able to get an 11th place finish. Brad Davis, one of the podium machines, down in 12th. Perkins, Jones, Martin, Sakina, Mitchell, Turner, Sonnet, Zavaglio amongst those in the top 20 today. You had Stiefel fall all the way to 21st spot. Big drop off, Bradley.
Massive drop there, and you see some of the other big names. Ben Lyda through Scott Hamble, Sutton, Fitch, Van Horn, all the way through your top 30, and the last 6 here on the screen now. Justin, let's step aside here for a second while we get set up for our next session. We'll be right back here on Kart Chaser with Kid Karts.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
You ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
2026 Cup Kart South Series, February 20th through 22nd at Finish Line Karting, March 20th through 22nd at Daytona International Speedway, April 24th through 26th at Music City Karting, and May 29th through 31st at Bushnell Motorsports Park.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix! James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakRacing.com.
And good luck.
Thank you very much, Haley. These drivers getting ready for our next race because it's going to be the youngsters, the kid cards. Get an opportunity to prove how they can handle the racetrack. And so far, Bradley, we've seen some big-time sends by Maverick Reddick a couple times over, but William Heckman has withstood all the pressure so far. That's why he gets to be the pole sitter.
Kid Kart, such a fun class to enjoy time over time over time. It's one of those that I always will say Kid Kart can be some of the most exciting of classes when it goes through. Of course, we always, look at senior light, medium, heavy, but I tell you what, Kid Karts is where the future stars get their start. So it is one that you want to watch out for and see what happens here. Maverick Reddick will be starting out second, and I think that's one to really watch out for as well. We'll see if Maverick Reddick can get past Heckman here early on. We'll see what that battle is for them. It's a standing start in Kid Kart, don't forget, which means as soon as they get the green flag, they go, 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 and it's all from there. And one other thing to note, Justin, it's only 12 laps.
Yes, a little bit shorter for the Max Tour Kid Karts here today. They get sorted out for their start here today. CKNA Spring Nationals presented by ORP here on Kart Chaser for those who have tuned into the course of the weekend. Here's a look at the starters based on the order from yesterday. William Heckman and Maverick Reddick in the top two. Then Brelsman will start in the top three for Kart Republic. Anderson Maxwell is in fourth in one of the RMS carts.
From there we go Liam Vaughn in the MGM and P5. We've got Beckett Hemphill, one of the Nitro carts. P6, Kyrie Dozit and a TK, and Ben Brumon in a Nitro in P8.
Domino in the top 9, then Cruz Dittmer inside the top 10 this afternoon for their race. Then as we continue on with the order, we have a few more carts in the field. Dawson McCloskey and Roger Hewitt back there. Charlie Fletcher, Amelia Rowe, and Will Holzner will be in the rest of the field. Waiting for the command to go. It's Kid Kart. It's 12 laps. And these drivers get the signal. It's green, green, green. We're underway. And look at Maverick Reddick getting the jump immediately outside to the point.
Maverick Reddick wasting no time getting that jump out of turn one there through and along, and William Heckman now on the back foot will have to complete a pass here and get through into the lead. So that'll be what's really going to be interesting to watch here. How will that handle that 221 of Wyatt Burlesman in P3? Will also have to watch through. There's the pass down the inside. The defense, though, of the 75 to the outside to the inside here. And now side by side, Heckman Reddick. They come through turn 9, and it's the 8 to the inside on the 75.
Heckman holding off the charge for the time being. One of the Heckman brothers racing machines. VOR Kart trying to park it in front. The CRG builds up momentum. Maverick Reddick coming off strong stretches in Texas. Just came off a win of the inaugural running of the FLKC just a week ago. Looking to add to that resume even more so with one of the biggest wins he can get here with the Spring Nationals. One of the drivers who contended for last year's Grand Nationals also. But keep in mind, it's going to take a lot of momentum to build it back up. Heckman's really good, it seems, through the flowy areas now that he's got this advantage back.
Let's see here how the advantage plays, what can come along here. Side by side, back behind. That's the 01 of Vaughn and the 90 of Maxwell going side by side. And then watch out for the Tony Kart there of Dozit, who will be trying to make a run as well. These three in a great battle for P4s. They stand. Burlesman in the 221 just sticking to the back of the top three here of Heckman and Reddick, looking for a pass where it can be found, looking to stay in the pace here. And again, you can see the different lines that the kick karts take compared to all of our other classes here. They don't swing it out nearly as far through the final corner. A little bit less weight, a little bit less momentum, a little bit less weight transfer that forces the kart to swing through and sweep through some of the corners. And you see the same thing out of 7. They tend to hug the inside heading towards turn 8 here coming out of the corner. They don't wash it out nearly as wide and go for the run. You see it right here. They tuck in, they hold right to that inside blue line.
Yes, indeed, as they rumble their way through. See all of them going clickety-clack around the track as you see Max, well, right now Reddick, I should say, Maverick Reddick, trying to get a little bit of a help there in that circumstance. The tough thing about this is going to be setting up the opportunities to be able to get to Heckman from here, because Heckman's pace going up by about a 10th or 2 per lap on the growing of this gap. It will set up this buffer. Those that, meanwhile, Munstos trying to chip away. Vaughn's been doing a good job chipping away also. You would have to argue with that 01 kart.
And doing a great job here. Vaughn in the MGM and Maxwell in the RMS going through, trying to keep a run along that the 01 of Vaughn there. You see in the mix in the green kart there in 4th. Look side by side here. The number 6 of Dozit in the Tony kart trying to make some sort of a move there on Maxwell. Not able to make a pass yet, but definitely was peeking around there, wanted to go through and wasn't able to capitalize yet here. We're a 3rd race distance done, and you can see there through 10, a little bit more pace goes towards Maxwell than Dozit, and that allows them to kind of swap through. The 221 now of Burlesman trying to hold off Vaughn as they go through, but up front, Heckman, half a second gap when they cross the line. It's gonna maintain 3/4 of a second now as it goes through. Burlesman is gonna be in 3rd in that Kart Republic, and again, Vaughn and the MGM still right on the back.
All of them trying to run the lower lines as they continue to set things up. Right now, the field's starting to really spread apart. They are potentially about to reach row amongst the lap traffic coming up the road in one of the Burrell Arts. Traffic management has been a critical part of things, as there's the 10 machine trying to make sure there's no issues. Amelia look to keep things steady when Heckman gets up there in the next few moments. All while Vaughn, close battle on track. There's the traffic, looks to move to the inside. No impediment. In fact, good move there to lift the race leaders in that circumstance. Takes the bottom away, but does not lose too many people time outside of one battle with Hemphill getting a chance for a fight.
Yeah, Hemphill looking to get past Dozit here. You see Dozit looking to the left there. One of the perks of that clear face shield there for Hemphill and Dozit is looking through, and there was one spin there in the background. That is the 01 of Vaughn, who has spun and unfortunately is going to drop well down the order. We'll see what the MGM kart there of Liam Vaughn can do to come back. Was running fastest laps of anybody last time over the line and then spins it out in turn 2. We'll see how that comes back through. Here's the 6 of the 90 coming together as they battle Dozit Maxwell. Bumper to bumper coming through into turn 9. It's a dive down the inside. It's a ramp over the curb for the number 6 there of Kyrie Dozit, able to get away with it and keep that kart going, but trying to make a move, and the 90 loops it on his own. Maxwell's over.
Maxwell spins around on the RMS machine, loses a ton of ground, and just like that, everybody starting to see attrition. Dozit, after nearly turning his kart into an airplane, gets the crossed flags at the stripe, needs to gain about 2 seconds to have a chance at the podium. Mind you, all of this as well, Reddick has turned up the wick, went faster the leader last time, now back within range, full tilt on the throttle as he tries to keep himself close. Heckman been really good out of 8th though. Reddick has to be smart on this plan here, Bradley, because last time he tried to make a pass on this kart, he had a half spin and lost a ton of ground.
Yeah, and it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. You have to be careful here going through, and this is one of the things in Kid Kart that you learn on the fly sometimes, is just what you can do, what you can't do. If you aren't fully committed in and careful with it, sometimes it proves to show a problematic moment, and you can end up in a half spin, you can ramp a curb. You never know what's gonna happen in Kid Kart sometimes when these karts get side by side and these kids go for it here, as we see Vaughn trying to close up the gap.
And one of the drivers who also has experience racing over at Trackhouse Motorplex as well, in terms of some of those starts. Coming up to what will be about 4 to go. We get to the stripe. Reddick stays within a 10th. Last time by, once again, was quicker to the race leader. Reddick also has the fastest lap of the race, the 58.8 compared to Heckman's 58.997. You're 2/10 quicker. See those differences yet again. Just Heckman is really good at setting up the right line to carry speed out of the corner compared to Reddick, who's able to charge up more so in the straight line. There it is with Reddick having to use a little bit more of a wider line down the front stretch. Sets him up for a shower line because of that for 1, 2, and 3 and onward. Well, Heckman just is arcing the corners and is able to gain a little bit more ground from the exits.
Yeah, it's really interesting to watch and see how they battle and what happens as they go along, because it's that difference in line, and it's that difference in sort of racing style that starts to evolve, especially at some of the higher ages in Kid Kart. Again, a reminder for those of you who aren't familiar with Kid Kart, this is ages 5 to 8, and you must be 5 years old to start racing in Kid Kart. Once you get up there near 8 and you're getting ready to age up into cadet class, you can see a lot of that racecraft really show here, and that's often what you see come to the front of the field in Kid Kart, is you see drivers who really have that racecraft in, and they try to take those alternate lines. They try to do those different things and really set stuff up as they go, like we're seeing right now. The 75 trying to take a different line, wants to try to go for it into turn 1, but still isn't close enough. That pace difference really kind of showing itself here as they go through, but that time around, Reddick was quicker than Heckman, but it's quick out of the corners, but down the straights, I think Heckman has a little bit more pace.
Yeah, we're seeing that right there. Reddick able to chip away again. 5 and 6 seems to be a narrow bread and butter spot. Battle is on for the podium. Dozen did close up the gaps, it looks like, with some of the traffic. Burlsman still not be able to get around said kart. Hands up, pop up, this time through. Hewitt able to settle in now. Now Dozen has to get this pass done quickly, all the way to the bumper of the 4. All while the leaders now also passed on by the 10 machine again. 2 to go. Reddick needs to figure out a way to close this gap by a couple of kart lanes if he wants a shot to get the lead here. Heckman looking poised.
This is where it's going to be very, very important to keep things smooth and consistent. This is the tail end of a long weekend for these young drivers, and they've got to make it all the way to the end. Now, at this point, you got the little bit of adrenaline that's going to start kicking in when you saw that 2 to go sign. That's going to help a bit, and that's going to help Reddick really start to try to close this gap here as they come along here. Let's take a look as they come through out of 8, 9 into 10 and 11. We're gonna go along through the left again, still holding on 11, 12, 13, and then 14, the hard right here, setting the line, holding on to it. Into 15 we go, and you can see again the 75 running a little bit wider, that 008 in a great position. The 75 looking to move up the inside. Still, is this close enough? Not close enough for the pass here. We're 1 to go, white flag out, but the 75 definitely looking to try to make a move here, has closed the gap considerably.
Might have one true chance to get alongside, and Reddick needs to pick the right spot to do it. Already with these kid karts, you lose an opportunity up through turn 8 with the lower line. Heckman had to go up the track for a moment. Reddick might have a little bit of a boost. No scent coming up yet. tries to keep close up for 9. Best opportunity coming up here. They work their way up towards 10. Reddick lost a bit of ground up through 9. Not close for the lunge. One more opportunity. Reddick tries to find a way to chip down the gap. Instead, William Heckman carries on the stellar speed. William Heckman wins in Kit Kart.
Great run from Heckman there. Reddick gave a run for the money, though, and kept Heckman honest as we see everyone come behind through the line. That's Burlesman, that's Dozit, Hemphill, and Vaughn. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th come through. Little bit of a battle there between Maxwell and Dittmer as they come through trying to hold on, and that will round out the top 8. Holzner and Camino, the top 10 there as they go across the line here in Kid Kart.
The youngsters able to get the job done. As you look at the rest of the grid, once those up, no, you had McCoskey, the last of those, on the lead lap. This time through amongst your Kid Kart group here today, Bradley.
Such a great run from the Kid Karts. Again, I always say that's one of the most exciting classes that come across week after week in any karting event. It's always, again, you see the names now and you got to wonder, you know, here in 10 years, where are we going to see it? As high fives all around here in the Kid Karts as we check out our winner.
Heckman. Let's continue on with the celebrations down below as everyone waits for Tech. As you see some of the stare downs from some of those members as they get ready to go through scales and make sure there's no issues a part of their celebration. And keep in mind, we have a quick turnaround when it comes to races. Already our next group already getting set, hearing there is the potential of light rain that might come into play at the end of this race.
Well, it hasn't come from meteorologist Carson yet, so I don't know that I can take it officially. But I am looking at the weather radar here on the side, and I tell you what, it has gotten more and more ominous as the day's gone. I've kept saying it's just to the north of the track, just to the north of the track. I think, unfortunately, that just north is going to run out at some point here during Senior Light.
So your Senior Lights brought to you by CKT. Colin Warren, Christopher McKeith in front row. Brady Shad looking to carry momentum from earlier in the 3rd spot. Remember, had to charge up when it came to Senior Medium. Cal Zimmerman, the top 4.
Moving on from there, it's Henry Wheeler in P5, Owen Lloyd in 6th, Emily DeMaster in P7. I'm going to be keeping an eye out on Emily DeMaster, and Lucas Theck in P8.
Jordan Klein, the 9th spot, with Sam Tutwiler. Rounding out your top 10 in this field, Edmondson and Lorenko, your top 12.
From there, we go Jackson Young, Kelvin Jing, Meyer Lewis, Brady Atwood. You see a slew of MGM karts there together, Justin, as we go through the tram lines. Do we get the green flag this time through as the rest of the grid scrolls? We do. We're green. We're racing with Senior Lights in the main event.
And we're crashing.
Oh, and already in a round.
At least one kart slammed the barrier. Zane amongst those involved in the battle amongst the top 14. Chaos in the mid-pack already. 18 laps up on the board here as we are past the halfway point of our races. The 328 taking the biggest of the slams as a result and having to get up. That's Capolongo again. It snowballed all weekend for him.
Sometimes it's not your weekend. Unfortunately for Capolongo, that was a hard hit into the barrier. I hope the kart is okay and they're able to get away with it, because that is one of those that you see and you go a little bit of just, that's not ideal. The 0 running out wide there, that is not ideal either for Henry Wheeler, washing well wide of the circuit as we go still 3 wide into turn 1. We go along and everyone fighting this one out hard. Henry Wheeler all the way down into 11th after the first lap. Crazy, crazy moves, and guess who's up 10 places so far? It's Shane Reddy. We told him about his heartbreak earlier. He's up 10 places here in Senior Light.
He's already up to the top 20, but it's going to require even more passes to have a chance. There's some of them right there. Going to get through amongst those up to 9. Oh, wow. The Colin Warren experience is up at the front of the field. If you want tickets to that, you're in the right place, because so far control and jump of the curb causes some more chaos amongst the edge of the top 20. A lot of drivers hitting those curbs, attacking side by side in bad areas for side by side here.
Look at the hand signals there between teammates saying, hey, get past me and then let's go. We got to figure this out, as they are all trying to sort it out. 2 wide, 3 wide, back in the back of the top 15, top 20. That's Sawyer St. Clair in the mix that we see along. Nobody really able to sort things out here as they go through. Shane Reddy again up into 16th now, up 13 places. He's got to get past Levi Getz, who's up 6. Ronnie Class up 5 as they go. This is just going to be a big battle of everyone here. And who's the fastest car on track last time around? The 119 of Owen Lloyd. Keep an eye on that 119 there in P3. He's not going to give it up anytime soon.
Remember, Lloyd looking for the sweep. If you already did the first leg, very difficult to win all 3 of the senior classes, just because of, 1, new rules, but 2, just because of how much we see the competition level rise with the light and the medium, in particular when it comes to the style of racing with their karts. Mind you, McKeithen at this point trying to look for the inside. Gets alongside Brittany Shad, top 3.
And top 3 continuing along through here as they go, trying to see what happens all the way through 4th place, holding on here as we see the top 10 continue to just fight each other out. I don't know that we're going to see any breakaway here in this run. And as I say that, Colin Warren tries to get his kart ahead there. He moves a little bit forward, but 2 steps forward, 3 steps back here. I know that's not the saying, but that's exactly what happens when you build too much of a gap here in karting. You go a bit forward, you get a gap, then unfortunately you get the train behind you and they go and run their way ahead. They're going to make it very challenging for you to hold a gap. You see him look over the right shoulder. He tucks the helmet down a little bit there as he is trying to keep all the momentum through the back straight into turn 8 that he can.
Meanwhile, elation if you are one of the drivers from Kid Karts. William Heckman standing on by. Let's go down track side.
I've got our most recent Kid Kart winner here. Tell me, how excited are you that you were able to walk away with the win? He's so excited, he's speechless. Tell me, who would you like to thank for it? Is it Mom and Dad?
My dad, and my grandma and grandma, my grandpa and grandma.
How excited are you to pick up this trophy later?
Very excited.
That's what really matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna send it back to senior. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Haley Donaldson. And those reactions initially to the first question just had us having a lot of enjoyment from that, to say the very least. Gotta love when you were young as a competitor. Yeah, that's something to look back when you're older on and say, I've come a long way in karting, and it all started with a Spring Nats win with a reaction like that.
I can't imagine being that young and just getting to get a win here at Spring Nats. I would probably react the same way. I'm going to be real honest. As a grown adult now, I'd probably react the same way, Justin. Let's be honest. It'd just be one of those, like, a little bit better media trained, but, you know, I'd probably still have a moment of, okay, I'm speechless. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Yeah, no, I don't blame him there. That's absolutely love that. That is how a win should feel.
Yeah, and I will say, though, there is the chance of, if you're in PPK, chance of feelings. Look at the weather radar, because here is our weather report from Carson. Look at all the green and yellow.
Meteorologist Carson here reporting in. We are just on the north side of Charlotte. For those of you unfamiliar with where the Charlotte Motor Speedway is located, it is on the north here. You see the loop around Charlotte, the interstate that goes around Charlotte to help bring traffic through. It is just on the northeast side of that loop. Technically near Concord is where it's at here. And I will tell you right now, there is a patch of yellow that is heading straight this way. We might not get it here in Senior Light. It might hit Cadets, it might hit Masters, and you never know. We could have the fun Michael Waltrip theory of you race around and it vortexes, and well, we have nothing. We are in a NASCAR track after all.
That's a Darrell Waltrip theory, actually, to correct you on that one. But
did I say Michael?
I think, yes, you said Michael. You're at the right track, by the way, Michael, in this case. But in all seriousness, PPK Coyotes 2 through 4, chance to group up against one of the best to do it when it comes to this type of racing. What do you do for the game plan if you're McKeith and Deck and Chad? If you want to pass on by this 1-1, you're already swamp drafting, having fun for second.
So I think this would have been something they would have talked about before the race starts as we get the cross flags halfway through. Lucas Theck, fastest car on track and has the fastest lap so far. That number 52 of Theck trying to trek his way up into the front here. It's something that PPK would have talked about before the race. They would have had that team meeting, had a little bit of strategy this morning and said, you know what, guys? We want our karts in the front. Once you get to the front, I'm not going to say they call it papaya rules or they call it PPK rules, but it would have been some sort of rule discussion of, hey, get our karts to the front, and then whatever you want to do beyond that, keep it fair, keep it clean, and finish the race together. The worst thing you can do in racing, we all know this, we've all heard it, and we all are aware of it. The worst moment you can ever have in racing is crashing with your teammate. So that is what you want to avoid, but you need your teammates up in the front. So that second, third, fourth place kart, 52, 165, the PPKs, I expect them to work together to get past Warren, and then it's gloves off at that point.
A little bit of shuffling to the back, by the way. D'Andrea amongst those falling down the order there. Your biggest mover out of these cards just moved up into the patch for the top 19. It is currently Iannello up 16 for those curious. Look at that second pack, though, not really strung together. We've seen a change up front. As you see now, Kart 52, Theck looking to back up his momentum. He's carried from some of the races on the stock car tracks as well in a Legends car. Now, the big thing is, if Warren tries to make a move and fails, it opens the door for everybody else in the train.
Yeah, this is where it's that give and take. Do you go for the one spot and lose 3 spots? The benefit there for Theck is Theck knows if he goes to pass Warren and can't get by, it's 2 teammates there that are going to play nice and polite. Now the problem for Warren, he's on the opposite side. You see Theck, though, make the signal, let's go forward, teammates or not. Let's break away from them before you try anything to get past me here. Outside of the top 4, we see Zimmerman here in P5 in the number 5. 5 for 5, I think a 4 for 4 would also be good, or a $6 biggie bag as they move their way along and head through. Lloyd in the 119 and P6, Tutwiler in P7 in the number 9.
I didn't realize Biggie Bakes went up that much in price. We'll say, for some of the drivers that are looking to make some biggie moves. Like to see Wheeler, who is looking to recover from a -4 to start the race. Wheeler not having the best of luck here today in Senior Light, it seems. Just holding on to the top 10. Gonna be already on hard charger alert for the senior meeting. In the first place, gotta be working hard to figure out, can I do something, anything, to finish up a little bit higher, knowing you've got a busy U.S. schedule coming up in 2026?
Yeah, that's the big thing to remember for a lot of these drivers here in Senior Light is this is the kickoff for 2026 in a big way here at CKNA here at the Spring Nats. You kick off 2026 in a great run, and if you can hold on to it and do well, this can either build or break your momentum for the rest of the year. Of course, it's a long 2026 to get through looking in CKNA, but hey, you're starting somewhere and you got to keep it moving and grooving and keep building momentum all season. That's going to be the big goal, is to just keep together, keep momentum. Warren Theck, they've actually managed to break away a little bit from Shed and McKeithen. I didn't think they were going to break away that far, but hey, they've broke away by about half a second so far. And then it's 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds back to Zimmerman when they cross the line. Now they keep moving through the 6, the 410. Battling it out here. That's Atwood and Lewis battling it out. That's all the way back in the battle for P14, moving along and keeping things through. MGM versus PPK back there.
Now, Atwood, you see amongst those in the shuffle. He's already picked up a championship in the East Division in Senior Heavy. Also picked up a Spring National Championship when he was a junior driver back in 2022. You can kind of tell what state he is if you look at the kart. at the very least, and that state is Maryland. For those who don't know your state flags, see him just trying to hold off Reddy, who's up 13, as well as drivers like Lewis and Iannello, a part of that PPK Coyote charge. Mort stands up the road as well. The Master, the driver you're watching out for, a little bit of a slip back here amongst this pack also.
I will tell you right now, the rain is imminent. I don't think it will hit here in Senior Light, but it is going to absolutely affect cadets coming through. But right now, these drivers aren't thinking about rain. They are thinking about a race going through. Feck trying to keep Speck up in the front here as he goes along. He's had a great day so far. Warren holding second. Battle still continuing along, though. The zero back here of Wheeler with Tutwiler and Klein continuing to fight their way along. They're outside of the top 5. Inside of the top 10 is where they sit right now, trying to battle. A little bit of something on the foot there, I'm not sure, for the 670, the 670 of Young battling it through. I saw him reach down at the left foot. I don't know what that was about.
And I'm quite sure it was reach around for the brakes there, as you see Wheeler, I think, putting the hand up in the air at the moment there with Tutwiler. 2 teammates to be able to try and get at least 1, maybe 2 more spots here to jump up with a couple laps to go. A little bit of a bumpy bump with Wheeler and Tutwiler for the 9th position. Nothing doing in their circumstance, though. But as we go into the final closing moments here, we watch to see, will anyone else be able to make some moves? Young's already doing a good job in his sake, holding back the fight. Same for Zek, holding back Warren for the past few laps with the help of some of these pushes. Now Warren looking to see, can he do what he did in some of the heats yesterday? Fake out his opponents, make the pass in the final corner on the last lap, begin a drag race setup. Hands up in the air, signals, hand chops before each other. White flag are running in the air, final time through.
Here's the thing, the white flag is out. You can hand chop with each other and say, let's move ahead all you want, but that doesn't matter on the final lap. Feck and Warren, they're gonna fight this one out, and Shad and McKeithen might be able to steal one here. Through 6-7 we go. Let's see the bump draft here from Warren with Feck, and the fence to the inside. Feck looks over left shoulder, right shoulder. Everyone peak shoulders, and here we go. Switch to the inside. That is Warren going for the pass for the lead here on the final lap, and now he swaps back through. He goes back inside into 10. He's still single file, though, not able to go through. Did he just compromise the run?
Now will Warren do something? He's already under attack for second instead. Zek comes out of the final corner from Miami, Florida. It's Zek coming through. He'll celebrate. It's the 52 today with a 3-wide finish for second.
And in that 3-wide finish for second, McKeithen and Shad were able to swap places there, unfortunately, at the end for Shad, who had held third for so long. Cale Zimmerman in the VLR gets P5 with Steel Motorsports. Henry Wheeler finishing it out P6 when it was all said and done. Jackson Young, Sam Tutwiler, Jordan Klein, and Owen Lloyd, your top 10 here.
Lloyd not able to go for the triple, to say the least. Tudutsi getting to 11th. The Master fell to 12th. Then Emerson, Atwood, Reddy, the top 15. Kilgo, Lewis, Fox, Iannello able to get to 19th. Fell back a little bit at the end, still plus 16. Cameron Reed amongst the top 20. Last year's out-of-the-box challenge winner from Grand. Some of the others like Wilkie was able to take his rocket engine up forward in the traffic. You see everyone making their way to the tech line, and you can see congratulatory hugs for many competitors. That's how close-knit this community is.
Great close-knit community here as our winner, Lucas Theck, gets his helmet off here. He's going to be feeling good. Let's send it down to Grace Overbeck with Lucas Theck.
Lucas, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is this your first career national win in senior?
I got one early, at the end of last year at Daytona Kart Week, but this race is way bigger. I can't believe it. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, that race was crazy. There were so many passes happening, and what were you thinking going through it?
In the beginning, I just wanted to wait till the kart got good, and then just tried to take the lead. Took it pretty somewhat early, and yeah, I knew I was a little bit better in the double lefts and the hairpin, so I just had to block the back straightaway, and yeah, we got it done.
And if you notice, you have a lot of your Coyote PPK friends up here with you. How has that been having a bunch of teammates up here with you to help you win this race?
It's been amazing. I can't thank Jim Lipari and John Sleglam enough for the opportunity they gave me, and yeah, all my teammates have been great. I want to thank all my family and friends for supporting me. And there's one that's been waiting for me to win, to mention him, Rodrigo Paloya. I'm there. I remembered you. And yeah, I can't thank everybody enough. Like, it's unbelievable.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lucas Stack, a happy driver. Let's take a break. You're watching Kart Chaser.
This is more than a race, it's a destination. Cup Karts Canada invites you to the Canadian 4-Cycle Championship, May 15th to 17th at Mont-Tremblant, Quebec. Race on a 1.2-kilometer technical circuit just steps away from the iconic Circuit Mont-Tremblant, where Formula One once raced. When the racing's done, enjoy everything Tremblant has to offer: the pedestrian village, restaurants, shops, hiking, and unforgettable scenery. It's elite 4-cycle competition and a perfect family getaway rolled into one. Racers from across the United States and Canada, this is your invitation. Cup Karts Canada, Mont-Tremblant. Come be a part of Canadian karting history.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and zero sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson threw on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Karting isn't just.
Time to keep the schedule rolling as we continue on into our later portions of the day. It's Cadet. Watched by Lawson Speed Shop. Slade Harrell looking to continue domination station. Has teammates behind it. Ryan Holtz in height. Bryson Barnett in the Timmy Tech will be in the top 4.
From there we go P5, Nathan Stockwell, Grant Heckman in 6 in the VLR. It's going to be Maddox Neves in the P7 position and Eliam Stoner in P8.
Continue to scroll through quickly because we are going to see the field actually reset here when they get going for the start. Some of the drivers like Grayson White to keep an eye on for some charges. We also will see Reagan Hodges. She'll be starting down in 16th. Some of the other notables amongst the drivers in the top 20 and these young competitors. We have 36 starters. Part of this field, Bradley. They'll go around again. Look for Dalton Steers and Mateo Romeo to charge up through this pack, though. 22nd, 28th, respectively.
Yeah, lots of big names all the way up and down this field to go, and I'm curious to see how some of these karts in the back, Ludovic DeCarry in the back as well. We'll see what happens for these cards. They come through, green flag out. We're racing here with cadets in Charlotte.
Underway with some of the drivers going wide. can hear the calls of green from the fans, as many of them excited to see what these cadets can do for a breaking lap. They rumble their way to the middle sector now, and so far, Slade Harrell building the advantage. That's over Spencer Height for the time being, as a couple drivers like one of the Heckman look to replicate their family member's success, able to charge up top 5.
Great move there from Grant Heckman down the inside. Top 4 going through. You see the family there on the tire wall giving the let's go signal. They are all going to be very excited to cheer on the cadets here. Our second youngest class of the day. Ages 8 to 10 here as they run through. 235 pounds, kart and driver combined as they come across here side by side for third. Reinhold Stockwell and the 222 Heckman working their way along. That's a great pass from Heckman to move up.
Anyway, the charge ahead, so far so really good. Here Grant Heckman after all today. Right now Reinhold's just trying to maintain momentum and find a way to keep up with Height. Heckman says, pass, give me an error, pass up on the board. Top 3, Heckman already continuing the charge. One of the Heckman brothers racing machines in the top 3, 2 spots this lap.
Reinhold's passed there going through. Let's see if there can be a pass back into 14, into 15. Looking over the shoulder here is Heckman, trying to see what he can do to get by and hold and defend. Heckman, fastest lap of anyone last time through. There's the 112 of Barnett and the 23 of Neves battling it through side by side as they go along. This is a great battle coming through. Cadets very aggressive on the passes here early on. They are spending no time to hold on. They are working on passing. They are working on racing, going through down the inside. Here we go, the 222 Heckman past Spencer Height into P2 now.
They would charge ahead. Keep in mind, that team coming all the way from Iowa, Fort Dodge, Iowa specifically, to come out here this weekend and race a lot on the East Coast. So far, you see those 222s with their team members continue to make pass after pass. Now, biggest challenge is at stake. Can Heckman overtake Harrell, who's built up a 6/10 buffer? Keep in mind, Heckman's got the fastest lap by a 10, but has to work with the Nitro Kart teammates to the leader.
And this is going to be one that the teammates are not going to let this go easy. Down the inside, we see Height try to get past Heckman, and we see here the battle continue through. More teammate battling coming along. The 24 of Reinholds wants to work around through the outside, switch back to the inside through 10. The 222 able to make his way back up into second after being passed for third, almost being passed to be sent to fourth. Is back up into second through the middle of the circuit. Coming back across the line will be second with that battling. What did that let the gap get to, though? Gap comes across. It's a second. We have one kart off here in the tire barrier trying to get back going.
Yeah, see who that might have been there. That I believe was one of the drivers in the 90s. They try and sort themselves out. It's going to be interesting to see the pass back coming up, though, from Spencer Height, the driver who won in the Summer Nationals last year and won here in Spring Nats in 2024. Continue to stay pretty feisty. Looking at some of the drivers as they charge through the middle of the pack, by the way, to give themselves some attention. Stockwell fading in this race. Stockwell's been a top 5 kart this entire weekend, Bradley, and the Canadian is fading at the worst possible time.
Yeah, Stockwell there with the Tony kart, the number 32 plated kart falling down into P8, may fall further, unfortunately. You can see a lot of works there, a lot of point forwards, and the decision being made by all the karts behind, let's move, let's push. Unfortunately, again, remember, all of these karts are running the same tires they've ran since qualifying through the weekend. So the thing with Stockwell that I have to wonder, and this is something that you would be learning really through cadets, how do you keep up with your equipment on the weekend here? As we see the 112 of Bryson Barnett making a dive down the inside on the 29 of Blaine Donovan. Great move there to swap in turn 8 and continue along. Now through turn 10 they go. How does the battle go? And for the 32, that kart runs wide there, just doesn't seem to have any grip left in those Vega tires, and that unfortunately does mean some great pressure here for the last of this race.
Appearances all throughout last year with Castle. Those cars, and we have some trouble around is Spencer Height. Tight spinning around in turn 1. And here the skidding over the broadcast feed, as that has seen him lose a lot of time. And another spinner, same exact spot. It's Dalton Sears now.
That 2 spins into turn 1. That is such an unusual place to see any incident here. That is why, look at the tire. The rain is here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It has caught us in the middle of the main event of cadets. Now, this is something for our second youngest class to really have to learn. How do they handle dry tires on what could be becoming a damp track? How damp is this track truly becoming? We don't really see the color changing, but it's enough. We've seen 2 drivers go off right now. And is it because of the weather? Is it because of just accidental moves? I have to wonder, for Height, was his moment just from battling with Heckman and Harrell? But the fact that we saw a second kart go around, I gotta wonder what's gonna happen here. The radar is looking green as it goes through here, and it's not green with money, it's green with rain.
Indeed, and remember, drivers have just been informed in the past minute, or it's a reminder with that weather system you see right below, there is a driver option tire conditions. They are under driver option tire conditions for this one, which means if we notify the race director elects to change that condition based on the weather. So we'll keep an eye on those situations for now. There is no mandatory window for the rain tires quite yet. Harrell, with all this, has actually expanded the gap back out because he's just been able to hit mark after mark. Slade Harrell continuing. And as you see, look at that. That banner is going to be something to watch for start under review.
That is big. Start under review. Rain is here. This race has really opened up in cadets. It is a complete just ball game of who knows what right now. This has been amazing to watch as they come through here in the feature. Cadet is absolutely crazy, and here's something to note. The number 44 kart, failure to leave room to race. Lap 5, turn 4 will have to finish behind the 80 of Laser. The AMAX kart down in 25th. And then we'll watch the 31 losing 2 positions here. That is Height, who is down 2 positions. Unsafe re-entry to track, lap 7, turn 1. That was his spin in turn 1 we saw. And unfortunately, he's down in 14. He'll drop 2 more places from wherever he ends up.
It's a little bit of back to the workshop for a couple of the karts in terms of wanting to improve for the Summer Nats. A lot of spots being lost for those drivers here, all while Slade Harrell just continues to throw command in this race. He has just been dominant over the course of this run here today and over the course of the weekend, and there's not much else you can say outside of that Nitro kart has had a phenomenal 2026 start here. Charlotte just seems to be his bread and butter track. Was a contender in last year's Spring Nats. Won, as mentioned, Stars competition. Now, amongst those contending here, just has been outright quick, to say the very least, as he's made his name in karts like Micro Swift and, of course, now in cadets and CKNA competition. Heckman, by the way, still maintains the gap over Reinhold. Right now, it's still a Nitro 1-3.
Yeah, the LR splitting the meat and the sandwich here. Here's the thing that I'm looking at with the cadets is, you know, really, I'm also thinking ahead to the next run that we have, which is Masters. Right now in cadets, it doesn't seem to be nearly wet enough to worry about any wet tires. But again, we saw on that radar, there is still bands of rain coming. And if you look and you zoom that radar way in, we're right in the pickle. Again, we're right between 2 cells, and it's moving just the right angle that it's kind of making things interesting. And I gotta wonder, with this race, of course, everyone's gonna stay on dry tires through unless something comes up in the next few minutes and we get some torrential storybook downpour out of nowhere. But you gotta wonder, when you start looking at Masters, are they thinking about wet tires at all? Are they thinking about moving to a wet tire? Are they thinking anything's gonna get worse? Right now, it is far too dry to worry about anything, and Sportsmen are currently sitting with wets on standby is the information we're getting. No Masters appear to have swapped tires at this time.
I was gonna say, track looks bone dry, but will it stay that way? Rest of the run, as Stockwell is able to shuffle ahead, able to get himself back at our spot. if it's amongst those, trying to figure out a way to charge ahead. One of the top contenders in Apex karting for 2026 so far in that conversation. Coming around through what's going to be 5 to go. Next time by. Look at some of the staggering though. Drivers getting some side-by-sides popping up. Stoner amongst those looking aggressive there. Able to fight it out to the back of the group. Frank drops down to 9th.
Great battling here through the back of the top 10 as they go along. That 41 of Stoner again looking to switch back to the inside here. May be able to pull it off as they go. This battling continuing along as we see all up and down the field. Great fights continue to show. Everyone giving it their all at this point. But if you're Slate Harrell, 4.4 seconds to the good, you have nothing to worry about behind right now. It is truly take that nitro cart, keep it together, keep it moving. The 29 right now, Donovan leading a Tony Kart to Stockwell, and keeping the battles through, defends the inside into 8, and you can see behind that pack where it's kind of started to spread out and spread along here.
Some of the drivers we're just watching along with, by the way, remember that graphic involving start under review? 3 different carts did get trampoline violations. Laser, one of them. Frank, another one of them. Also at the 115. Speaking of carts off track, there goes an off track for one of the top carts, Stockwell. Not happy.
Stockwell with a big off. You can see the emotions there, just trying to get the cart to fire back up at this point to get back out on track. Stockwell was fighting within the top 10. Unfortunately, that cart will drop well down the order. Hopefully, Stockwell can get that cart fired again and get back out. Meanwhile, nothing is done in the battle for P2. Reinholz, Heckman passed through the inside. The 222 of Heckman gets that VLR cart back past the Nitro. Reinholz now trying to swap it back into 14 and 15 here as we head on to start lap 16 of 18.
They're fighting hard to try and get a better step of the podium. Couple laps to go, 3 to go specifically. Barnett, if they start boiling over, get on through in that situation. So they'll continue to try and fight out here. Reinholz all weekend long has looked stout. Can he find another run to get alongside? Gets blocked off. Had to lift a little bit. Heckman moved towards the middle.
What a great defense here going through as we continue along. Heckman looking to defend as strong as possible here for this second place. And the more they battle, of course, the more it's going to introduce Barnett there in P3 to try to close in and bring his way through. Look at the 24 go very wide over the curbs out of 14 into 15 they go. They come across the line now. Let's see here as it's 2 to go at the moment. Bryson Barnett in 4th, closing the gap out. Gap 1.2 seconds. Heckman, Reinholz, I hate to tell you, watch behind you. You both could be under trouble here soon.
Reinholz, one of the drivers from Wisconsin, a vice champion in previous runs with the Grands in CKNA competition. Looking to see if he can do that again in the spring nets. All with a bumper of Heckman. Heckman maintains through 10 up towards the technical areas. Some of the others getting a little bit feisty back there, but right now Heckman is getting a little bit feisty on his blocks. White flag is out for Slate Harrell. Final time around for the 88.
88 through 3, 4, and 5 beautifully so far, taking just the right line, not overdriving the cart, not doing anything unnecessary. That cart is tuned in through 6, 7. We go now all the way down the straight of 8, tucking the helmet, looking around, a little bit of bounce to try to get some extra speed. Great run through 8. The 88, Slate Harrell, has been on the ball this weekend.
Slate Harrell making up for last year. Put on a rocket. The Nitro kart outright dominant. He's led just about every lap this weekend. Largest lead of the weekend. Slate Harrell wins it in Cadet.
And who's going to come across in second place? Reinholz able to get the pass here at the end, and Jackson Reinholz in the 24 will get the pass on the 222 of Grant. Heckman comes through, and look at the group of carts coming through. The flat man has to stand to the side here as the last of the top 10 come through, separated by rates of not going along, and here is how they go. Harrell, Reinholz, Heckman, your top three. Barnett found fourth. Elam Stoner found P5 with Blaine Donovan in sixth. Chase Call can call it in seventh. Frank in P8. Neves and Spencer Height in P10.
Wyatt Fox does it. Brownfield. Talib amongst the top 15. Good to Romeo. He was your biggest mover, up 12. Top driver from the Canadian side in 16th. Hodges, Gagnon with Smith and Irwin. Watch your top 20. Dalton Sears from his slide, by the way, fell down to 26th. Remember, James Laser also wants those with issues on the penalty side. Down in 27. We'll see things change on the post race, likely for them on the run through. But a couple other carts had a little bit of ups and downs. We had 3 drivers out of the race. Stockwell, who ended up finishing 5 laps down. Sepker down 35th. Enzor down in 36th. Trevor Enzor in one of the low-key carts. Zipping on through Bradley. This next group is already firing up. Coming up.
Coming up next here, it's Masters firing things up again. Nobody appears to be on wet tires. I think we got a little bit lucky with the rain yet again here, where anything that was super heavy is passing just to the north of us here. So here at the circuit, it is slight sprinkles, but I don't think it's anything desperately severe. I do see a few umbrellas out and about, but the track overall doesn't look bad, and the drivers here, I think they all look focused and ready to go here as they get the helmets on. They all set up, and they are ready to go here all the way up and down the field.
Why don't we hear, though, with the driver who just took the win in Cadet as these carts roll off. Slade Harrell gets to roll to victory lane.
Slate, it's been an absolutely dominant weekend for you. It was a flag-to-flag victory. You walked away with it in every single session. What's the reason for all this speed?
I don't know. I really just wanted to drive this weekend, so I just came out here and wanted to dominate. I had my head focused this whole time, and I came into this weekend thinking we got to win this. And I got it taken away last year, and now I took it back this year, so yeah.
How are you feeling knowing that you lost it last year, but now it gets to stay yours?
Well, I'm feeling good because I was mad last year because it was a really good season, and I just feel happy this time.
Well, congratulations, Slate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Haley, as yellow flags wave because everyone still needs to group up to double up for the restart. And as we come up to your grid, Bradley, we're hearing the drops are getting big. Sean Meyer, AJ Roderick, your top 2. Mark Steele, the reigning Grands champion, up in 3rd. Jamie Bradford will start in 4th.
From there we go, Chris Carroll, P5, and Brad Davis, P6, John Price, P7, 8th place, Ryan Spirowski here going through. As you see, yellow flags still waving along. Looks like they're gonna send them around one more time just to make sure that everyone is good and feeling good here on the run as those big drops are coming down, but it doesn't look like it's affecting the track too much yet.
Yeah, some of the drivers like Todd Barron and Eric Lazard gonna be right in the hornet's nest if they start getting to where the grip levels drop significantly here on the edge of the top 10. Also, some of the other drivers like JD Gunn, we've already seen one charge this weekend are on the second tab. Same for James Perkins, who contended in the Legends race. So we'll see how things go for those carts. Andrew Grenier will start off in the 18th position. But remember, is one of the drivers with some track connections down in Canada. Let's find out if the track is ready to go. Watch for a wild one. Masters, green, underway. Grip still good for now. A lot of people missing the middle groove, and we have carts in the barrier. One of the drivers from Roger Crazy Development into the wall. There is amongst those having issues in the back. Everybody else getting single file.
Kevin Medeiros around. The 111 is around as well here going through. So early on, couple drivers with big incidents there as they go up front. It's side by side for the lead. Swap back into 8. Now it's through in 9. We got another kart off in 8. The 816 running his way through. That's an interesting place to have an issue for that driver. That's Eric Lassard in the 816 having a moment. And there we go. Race start under review. Another kart pulls off to the inside. They're through. I think that is one kart out on a mechanical failure. Meanwhile, up front, let's get a reset, and red flags are out.
Chaos all bound. We'll freeze the field here. Red flag situation here from Charlotte. Some of the crews get to work. Red flag is out. We'll take a step away as they'll sort things out here for this one.
All right, Grace. Sounds good. I headed back.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3. The dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspects with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation. Kart Sim Pro North America. featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data. KartSim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, KartSim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. KartSim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
2026 Cup Kart South Series, February 20th through 22nd at Finish Line Karting, March 20th through 22nd at Daytona International Speedway, April 24th through 26th at Music City Karting, and May 29th through 31st at Bushnell Motorsports Park.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix! James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win number 1 in OKN Stars!
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakRacing.com.
This is more than a race, it's a destination. Cup Karts Canada invites you to the Canadian 4-Cycle Championship, May 15th to 17th at Mont-Tremblant, Quebec. Race on a 1.2-kilometer technical circuit just steps away from the iconic Circuit Mont-Tremblant, where Formula One once raced. When the racing's done, enjoy everything Tremblant has to offer: the pedestrian village, restaurants, shops, hiking, and unforgettable scenery. It's elite 4-cycle competition and a perfect family getaway rolled into one. Racers from across the United States and Canada, this is your invitation. Cup Karts Canada, Mont-Tremblant. Come be a part of Canadian karting history.
Cat food marketing.
And as you can see, I'm on grid, and around me has only dry tires on. It looks like they're all waiting for that first guy that's going to put on the wets and be the one to change everything. But it's not even really raining anymore. There's just some light droplets, and as you can see, we're going to pan down parts where you can see the droplets starting to fall a little bit, but they're really not that heavy. So personally, I don't think that the wets are necessary. The Masters have been pulled in, and none of them are really doing much besides just standing around talking strategy with the rest of their teams and then.
Thank you very much as we get ready here in this one. As you can see, as they said, a lot of the drivers pulled down, and we also see with the grid, some of the drivers do have some of the cart covers on, Bradley, to make sure they don't get the seats and the carts themselves soaked. And as some of the fans have watched along, I've noted, the rush is on to get the air filter covers. You have to think on some of these carts in case there's any standing water that can cause an issue with water in the motor.
Yeah, the water in the motor is a big problem. I think the biggest thing to note is every single cart has wet tires on standby on the cart stand. Nobody has mounted it. I'm looking at the radar again. We're in an interesting spot where I just can't tell what's really going on looking at the radar at this point. It doesn't look like we're really going to see anything, but there is some rain basically everywhere around this track. And if anything shifts a little bit left, a little bit right, a little bit up, a little bit down, we could end up with some light to moderate light precipitation is what I'm going to call it. Moderate light. Enough that I think it would necessitate pulling the trigger to go onto the wet tires. But as of right now, as it stands here with Sportsman on the grid, wet tires, standby only.
So we'll keep an eye on that as we are still waiting to see how things get sorted out here amongst your carts. Again, we were in the Masters feature with a red flag situation currently for these competitors on the racetrack. Remember, the red flag situation usually is trimmed down 2 laps as a result of that sequence. So in theory, it'd be a 16-lap final for the Masters once we get rolling rather than an 18-lap run. It really depends on how things go now once they finish up their sort out. We'll say a lot of these drivers at the very least having some fun. A few people saying, hey, look at camera, let's sprint at it.
My favorite thing is when the drivers and the friends and the family all realize that they're on camera. And yes, welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina, where you're on camera here for Kart Chaser Finals here for the CKNA Spring Nats. This is really fun. And I think what makes this better is that you have to remember, if they're on camera here, they're on a Jumbotron, so everybody here at Charlotte can see them. So if you've forgotten, we're at Charlotte Motor Speedway. One of the key parts of Charlotte Motor Speedway is the big old Jumbotron right on the back of turn 2. So remember, when we cut back to the camera that shows turn 8, the Jumbotron is right behind that. So Jumbotron's behind us right now. Everyone here can be seen on the Jumbotron.
And that is seeing a whole flux of carts all circulating about. Look at this with some of the crew members taking the opportunity here with this stoppage in some of these races coming up. At the very least, make their final checks. Make sure the bolts are tight. Make sure the wheels don't come off. Anything along those lines. You see that right now with a couple members just checking on the last things. And you may as well make sure everything is set to go, because one little mistake, whether it's the gas cap in the case of one of the Boltons we talked about with Huntington, or whether it's having a loose bumper bar come apart during the race because you didn't tighten that. There's so much you have to make sure you get tightened up for when we go racing.
Yeah, karting is a sport that can be very unforgiving for small errors that can have the biggest implications. And the last thing that you want to do is have something 1 millimeter out of alignment, because that can cost you a tenth, 2/10 a lap as it goes through. We're 2 minutes 45 seconds from getting the Masters run restarted. As you said, it should be 2 laps shorter as it goes here. Sportsman on the grid, all looking ready to go, though. I think they're sitting here thinking, can we just skip to us? Let's go. I'm ready to run. But we got to get this back underway one way or another as we come through here, and everyone's suiting up, everyone looking ready to go here. We'll get ready to send the Masters on out here as they will restart their race.
See some of those drivers right there in line to be able to hit the track. The next moment or so after being brought back down pit road previously with the red flag situation. Again, been an interesting weekend for all the classes here. We've been happy to have a lot of the partners when it comes to Cup Kart North America here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A lot of these drivers in their situations. Now, obviously in this circumstance, a lot of these drivers staying on the same tire compound as well for our next race as mentioned. So, last few things to keep in mind here amongst these teams. It looks like a bit of a scramble now to make sure you get this whole influx of traffic cleared up to be able to go racing in the next moments.
Yeah, they're working on getting everything finalized along and through, and it looks like the officials are making their way back out to the track, so we might be ready to go here in just a moment. You'll know when we're ready to go because all of a sudden everybody will move around and things will get crazy very, very quickly. You'll see all of non-essential personnel clear the grid and move through, and then we end up in the run and ready to go here. Everyone looking through, getting ready to make their final goes here. Brief talks and breakdowns there. AJ Roderick talking with a fellow competitor, looking to get some final things here on the run. That never give up sticker, as we've talked about time and time again on many of the karts as they go through. Let's check out the number 34 here. That's Mark Steele, who is going to be looking to steal a win here today if he can.
Not sure what he's signaling onto the camera there, by the way, as some of the others are just saying, rock on, let's go racing. Before they hit the circuit, you see him with Carroll, John Price, staying pretty calm. You switch over to the other side where others are just taking the opportunity to almost meditate. What's your in-race ritual, I should say, to be able to focus before you hit the track, whether it's virtual or real?
Well, the idea is really that you don't get a red flag. Red flags throw off all momentum. You kind of have to do a full mental reset. And the big thing they're going to have to calculate at this point, how many laps have we done? How many laps are left to go? And make sure that they are aware and kind of get back in that zone of what's ready to go. Because here's the problem. You have the whole build up to your race. You're racing. And then all of a sudden you have to shut that back down and rebuild back up. That is one of the hardest things to learn as a driver because it can throw off the momentum. And for some drivers, I've seen it have experiences where it's race ending. They just can't get back in the rhythm. And regardless if they're in the lead, if they are running P20, they just can't have a run. But sometimes you can see drivers, if they can master that, it gets them all the way through. And that's why you see some of these drivers just sitting in the karts, visor down. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to do anything. They are just waiting to get back to what they were doing and keeping that mindset there. Long story short, Justin, it is a learned art that is extremely hard to learn.
Still no word on the motion quite yet here. By the way, get to clarify something yet. Trying to make sure the grid is getting lined up is what we're hearing. Also, of course, for the karts on this side with the Masters, you can't make those adjustments as you were talking about. It's those that the Sportsman were referring to earlier on those adjustment fixes. So as they get sorted, that's the important thing. You got to make sure this grid is lined up exact. to know when you go racing, and it looks like a few of those karts are getting the command. It's time to crank them up and get ready to try this again.
Everyone getting the cart started. You see the heads down, everyone looking. There's the signal. Grid official says, let's go, and everyone will roll out here to get restarted. They pull out in turn 10, turn 11, and they run through around. Again, remember, they take the cut from 5 to 7 and then come back around that way, and that is how they form things up. Still, light sprinkling off and on in the area. We'll see if any more rain comes down here in this Masters feature as we get ready to finish it up here on the feature. And then it's 2 more races to finish out our day here, Justin. I'm kind of sad to see it over.
Well, look at this grid one more time. Remember, like we're going to be at 16 laps rather than 18. As it's Meyer and Roderick, Steele and Bradford in the top 4. Rest of your top 10, Carroll, Davis, Price, Ruski, along with Barron. Also alongside Eric Lassard in your top 10 here, Bradley.
Yeah, moving on from there, we go down to P11 on the run. It's Perkins, it's Brancati, it's JD Gunn who will be gunning from P13. That'll be a driver to watch there. Jason Zubku in P14, Michael Dittmer P15, Darren Marcus in 16th. They send them on around one more time, it looks like, to try to get these karts together, let everyone kind of get in a rhythm here and get ready to go, and we'll see how this plays through. They send them on around for a full lap, and now they'll come back in, send it back through. Again, that cut from 5 to 7, and they'll be ready to party.
And remember, mention that when it comes to the red flag situation, there is that potential of the shave down on laps. It is shaved down, got confirmation. It's down to 16 laps, not 18 for your Masters. Again, today's action throughout this weekend for the Masters side. Give a shout out to Camp Chaos with MSR Motorsports. Part of the backing when it comes to this series. Some of those Chaos members from that camp will be towards the back looking to charge. But up at the front, 16 laps to the board. Green, green, green. We're underway. Meyer gets them done clear up front.
Great moves here up in the front and mid-pack. Still see some good battling side by side. A little bit of a ramp of the curb. And 2 drivers off, 3 drivers off here early. Some worse than others as they rejoin in. Still side by side as they go along. This main event is already going to be exciting. We didn't even get 1 lap done last time. And up front, we have a battle for the lead already forming here. That's Mark Steele who will steal the lead here running through. And we'll see if he can hold it through 10 as they're side by side behind him. Right there, nose in, and that's the 34 round after contact there with the 30 of Sean Meyer.
So just like that, Steele, your defending Grand winner, going down the order. One of the contenders today, not in the conversation now, and we'll have to keep an eye on the bulletins here. There's already 1 flag popping up. Contact for second. Bradford and Carroll nearly sandwiched together.
All right, so the Masters showed up to show out is the note I have here after 1 lap going through. Let's see how this battle continues through as we have Chris Carroll, now our kart in the lead, holding on there in the blue, white, and black kart in the front, trying to keep things along, moving, grooving, and all the way along. This is just going to continue to shuffle up and down the order because they're not going to let each other rest for a second. This is going to be a matter of endurance of the kart, endurance of the tires, endurance of the driver, all the way through for these wise drivers as we have multiple karts off back outside of the top 10.
You've seen that with 12 now as they rumble the way up through 15. Leader, Carroll, up at the point. Chris Carroll, AJ Roderick, your top 2. Some of the errors like JD got it yet again, continuing to have to find amongst the top 11. But as they keep up this wildness here, Carroll looking to back up speed we've seen in the winter nets after all. Carroll right now up by a few tenths, but for how long? Roderick says above 3 seconds. There's the pass for the lead.
Great pass for the lead, and do we see a pass back? That is one of the things I would anticipate to see here in Masters, is you get a pass through, you get a pass back, you get a pass through, you get a pass back. So we'll see what happens. Number 33 kart is under review here as they go, so we'll see who is under review. We'll see what happened here. There was a lot of big moments there in that first lap. What's going to be the decision there from the stewards? What's going to be their choice here in Masters, and what will that mean for race implications in the race?
So keep an eye on those bulletins as we go here right now. Remember, for the most part, penalties have been pretty calm in the Masters throughout the course of the weekend. See some of the reviews include the 30, that is Meyer. That is a part of that banner right now in third, looking to add to the resume. And remember, have the Archie Barges for the lead. Price and Lassard on Bradford right in the mix also here, as we are about now a quarter of the way through the race.
So avoidable contact, lap 1, turn 10 for the number 30 of Meyer. That Coyote kart will finish behind the number 34. That was that contact we saw with Mark Steele. Mark Steele, I hate to report, is well down the order right now. Was down in 27th, is up into 20th now, but still, how will this battle go through? Unfortunately for Meyer, it's going to be heartbreak when he hits the scales.
4 penalty points also. That's going to be big for the rest of the year, because you've got a big amount of points now to your license over the next 380 days or so over the course of CKNA competition to worry about. Now, as they continue to fight around, we've heard from Roderick so far in terms of discussions. Right now, AJ Roderick, one of those that is busy not only racing, but also running Roderick Racing Development, is a driver that has been on the pole as well, continuing up front. There's a look at some of the R bulletins. Leaving racing room is critical. In the case of the 01, that is Todd Barron at the back, who just joined that list.
Todd Barron will finish behind the 859, and I hate to report, the 859 of Alexander Dallery is in 28th, so that is 2 karts that will have an absolutely detrimental run there. And the number 30, again, that avoidable contact, dropping way down the order for Sean Meyer, which is heartbreaking. Sean Meyer is the fastest car on track, but moments like that, race control, when they put their foot down, there's nothing you can do here. Top 3 hold on by a series of nothing, bumper to bumper to bumper. Roderick, Carroll, Meyer, Price, 3 Coyotes, and then of course Roderick Racing Development's own AJ Roderick up at the front.
Remember, they originally connected with Alliance when it came with Coyote Motorsports as a dealer network back in 2024. PPK was a part of that. Joseph Crack Racing originally a part of that partnership also. That was with the goal of racing, in the case of RD, in the Midwest and the Northeast specifically. Roderick in these types of races amongst that region have looked very competitive, to say the very least. A multiple-time champion in the history of CKNA competition up front. In the early going, was a part of the big names in its history. Lassard, though, you see with a shuffle, getting a little bit aggressive back there, just outside the top 5 right now in the TB kart.
Watching that battle outside of the top 5 just continue to develop here, while the top 4 all try to find a way to run away. They're fighting hard here early on in the run. We're halfway through this race now. Lap 8 of 16 is underway. So as they keep this battle alive here, they try to break through if they can there. The top 4, they can pull more of a gap here, as we see a great pass further back in the field. That is a good move there. The 77 or the 445 and the 427 passing and swapping positions out for P12, P13 up front. Roderick still doing the blocks, keeping the line, holding on nice and steady here as they come across the line, and we go through into lap 9.
They all stay well connected among the top 4. Here's the conversation point, though, to think about. You have 3 Coyote chassis. Different thought processes there in terms of that arrangement, maybe, with the Coyote Motorsports machines. But now, yet again, how much does that factor in, knowing there's the technical alliance at the very least, to at least that they've had a working relationship with the other competitors up in the mix of this top 4. All 4 have had a history of working together with the respective teams. So we see what they do here.
This is a exciting one to really see how they decide to do stuff as we see the signal here. Lap 9 of 16 done. We're on lap 10 now as these drivers continue through and go along trying to see who can get a pass where as the top 4 go, and then behind them they continue along. Look at the sky. It's bleak, it's meh, as we've discussed ad nauseum at this point. There's rain all across the area. It's seemed to avoid the track in any heavy capacity, but it is just enough in the area that it is just causing kind of that sky to look ominous, and it's got to be scaring some drivers somewhere to thinking more rain is coming than might actually be.
Yep. Just got a slight update. It is full distance. Just got confirmation with. So do you see that update on the board? Roderick now has a couple extra laps to play around with here, and that was the question we were talking about before the race as well, for good reason. By the way, on the swell, JD Gunn yet again, charging up to the field, yet again. Top 10 competitor on 5, your biggest mover amongst the top 10 carts. That weather forecast, I'm pretty certain at this point that bubble is right about where the racetrack is. I am surprised we don't see any major sparkles right now when it comes to the green. At the very least, it's not that giant blob over Salisbury.
Yeah, it is very, very lucky there on that radar that we have not seen just good, steady rain the whole time. I really was expecting to see a bit more here as the radar has dynamically changed. And yeah, I'm with you there. I think there's just a big bubble, kind of akin to The Simpsons when they put a bubble over The Simpsons and over the city. I almost feel like that's what we've done to Charlotte, is we put a good bubble right over the top here as it goes. Top 4 still holding on. We check back in. P5 here. Bradford, Davis, Lassard, Gunn, Perkins, they all are sticking together here in a 5-cart group, trying to lose the 4th and 5th cart in the line there of Gunn and Perkins. Bradford, Davis, Lassard, they hold single file. They're just trying to keep the battle alive, keep running, keep gunning, keep moving, keep grooving is what I would say they're trying to do. And here's a look at the big gains here from Insko. The number 427 in the low-key cart in P11, up 14 places on the day so far. And Clossie back in P19 is up 17 places on the day.
One of the drivers who had some issues earlier on the weekend on the charge, yeah. But Riccati is the next target if you're Insko. Tough part is 1.3 seconds to gain about 5-6 laps. It require a lot of heavy lifting to get up to the 121. Riccati doing decent here over the course of this weekend, I have to say, in this class, just trying to ride. Some of the others stay steady on tempo. Same can be said once again for what we're seeing for the 445. Keep it with them, and now one of the Coyotes. Keep it up with your biggest mover.
Keeping that move truly alive as they go along. And let's see here, the 56 of Roderick, Carroll, the 12, the 30 of Meyer, and now Price has started to drop off the back of the pack a little bit, that 444. So as they continue along here, just trying to make a move here as we check in on the grid going through, just watching their drivers run, trying to get an idea of what can happen.
Emily DeMaster in particular watching along with here, keeping an eye on the carts. We've already seen now with the team box on the racetrack, Intrigue, one of the crew members also next to her as she tries to see what happens here. Right now, Roderick's led a majority of the laps over the course of this race here from Charlotte. Lap 15 underway. Carroll, Meyer, still nothing doing on the track. Remember, the 30 going to be dealing with the penalty situation later. Price unofficially will be amongst the podium runners if we were to finish this way. So it's going to get interesting. Something's going to have to give here if you want to try and switch things up for the win.
For sure. One of the things to note, the number 96 of Scott Hamble picked up a penalty as well for avoidable contact lap 4 and was told to finish behind the 6. That has been served on track though, so no harm, no foul there for the number 96 as he's dropped to be the last kart currently running on track as we go. Continuing to move through here up in the front. Again, it's just a case of they're being patient here, and we're trying to see when they decide to make the move as we go to lap 16 of 18 now. It is the full 18 laps that they are running here.
Carroll just trying to think. Where do I go? Where do I make the pass? Where do I shuffle? Where do I try and close up? Speed difference between them, identical last time by. 48, 417 was on the stopwatch. But right now, as they try and sort out, Carroll starting to close up again for 10. Gonna have a couple laps to try and set this up. Carroll, one of the drivers who's looked fast all weekend, was a contender. Some other races have popped up with over the course of the season when it comes to Apex. 2 to go for him when he need to find a way to close the gap. Double sticks.
Double sticks in the air, and now it is a case of what gap do you close, how, where, and what do you do in the mix? And again, remember, Meyer is not aware of the penalty that he has as he goes through, unless he got lucky and he saw it come up on the board down the backstretch. He is racing. He thinks for the win right now as they come through down into turn 8. The 56 of Roderick there, trying to get a win for Roderick Racing Development, trying to redeem himself from Winternax. We'll see if he's able to do so here as they go along. Coming through 10, can he defend from that 12 of Carroll all the way through? That is going to be the problem for him, is that Carroll is a very, very crafty driver in that Coyote kart. We'll see if he can do so. Look over the right shoulder there for Roderick, and they come through. White flag, 1 lap to go now. Through 1 and 2 they go. They hold stationary. Meyer, if you could give Roderick a favor and start attacking the 12 of Carroll, I'm sure Roderick would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, but the thing is, will we get that favor? Carroll looks for a bit of a favor with a pole. Roderick remains solid going in through 8. Closed up by Carroll. He's been good on the trap there. Some battling down below also outside this top group. Featuring drivers like Bassard trying to hold back Bradford for a top 5. Working their way on the top box through the final sector coming up. Right now, Lassard has some battles with JD Gunn trying to move ahead back there. Oh, wow, Roderick comes away with a win. Masters goes to Roderick.
A great win, a great feather in the cap there for Roderick Racing Development, for AJ Roderick, the boss there, getting a great move through with your team looking on. That is how you show how it's done, as the rest of the Masters get across the line here. Great runs from them. Chris Carroll in second in the Coyote. Again, Sean Meyer, the 30, will shuffle down the order all the way behind the 34. So that puts John Price provisionally 3rd, and Eric Lassard will move up to 4th. Jamie Bradford 5th. But as they finished on track, it was 4th, 5th, 6th. Gunn, Davis, Perkins, Bruncati, and the Tony Kart finish out your top 10.
Move down the order, James Skill able to get to 11th spot. Gill was in 12. Mark Steele, great recovery to 13th for his situation. After that incident, Marcus in 14th. Barron, Detmer, Bergeron amongst those in the top 20. Down the order, some karts looking to recover back. We've seen adjustments with Amber Flint previously, potentially. Some of the others, Flint down in the 20s. But what's sending down trackside? Look at this, some smiles.
AJ, what a race. I mean, the people behind you, they couldn't even pick up the pace on that last lap. What were you thinking?
Well, I saw a gap coming with 1 to go, so I knew I wasn't going to have to defend too hard. And as we come around the back straightaway, I saw them rolling pretty fast to me, so I just knew I had to get to the inside before they did.
And I just want to know, what does this win mean for you? I saw some of your fellow Roderick Racing Development teammates over there watching your race with you. What does this mean for your team?
It definitely means a lot for me. This is my first national win since 2009, so happy that we could get it done, and hopefully my young drivers were paying attention so they can do it next time.
Well, I don't want to keep you waiting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How about a little bit of history, Bradley? 2009 is a long time. You're talking near 20 years.
Yeah, and that definitely, you can tell, has been a goal there for AJ Roderick. So great to see AJ Roderick and Roderick Racing Development up at the top there of Masters. And you heard him say it. I hope my younger drivers were watching, because they're next. And speaking of younger drivers, let's jump to Sportsman. The starting grid here: Hayden Lawson, Austin Taylor on the front there, with Yusuf Adi and Danny O'Gara, the top 4 here.
Anderson Hemphill, Camille Canache will be amongst those in top 6. Ryan Hall, Jackson Brewster, your top 8.
Ruben Greer, P9, Logan McCloskey, 10. We'll see where they can go if they jump up or down the order. Mikey Todd, P11, and Christian Liu, P12, as they're going a full lap around, it looks like.
Indeed, you see some of the drivers warm up. Darnell and Simmons will be in the top 14. Tanner Gonzalez, 15th in the marquee. Clancy will down in 16th today in the order. A lot of fast drivers are going to have to fight hard to get up to this field. Liam, for a name we've seen pop up in the new gen in 19th, for example. You continue to scroll through the rest of these drivers, though. You have drivers like Drew Snyder's had to come back from some DNFs earlier in the Nitro kart. You have Stoner amongst those looking to come up from 28th. Some of the others mixed into that field. We have 30 total in terms of sportsmen here today. As looks like we did get ourselves moving to go one more time around. Want to make sure they get the straight shot for the tram lines. A couple karts are battling out here. As they zip at the back of the field, they continue to zip their way on through. Looks like we're going forward, and they're being told, hey, we didn't give you the green yet.
The fun of sportsmen, every once in a while, you got to make sure that they get it through and around. And now here we go. I have a feeling this might be one more time through. They're not tightly enough packed here, but if they're looking good into the tram lines, they might still let them go. And it's in the tram lines. They're packed up. Let's see here if they let them go this time around. They're still giving them the slowdown signal. Do we like what we see? We like what we see, and we're green for sportsmen here.
Green, green, green. We're underway as the field stays side by side of the back. Front of the field got quickly sorted, it looks like, with Hayden Lawson and company trying to fight things out. Big thing when it comes to seeing Taylor towards the front potentially here, because remember, one of the karts that had some issues when it came to the heat races yesterday. Keep an eye on timing, how things go with the 124 kart. You see him right now fiercely battling for second for good measure. It's going to be interesting what Taylor does here late.
Yeah, this is going to be one to really watch here. Taylor will sneak up in the end. I'm sure it's just a matter of getting through. And again, this was one of our classes that you had to make it through past an LCQ or through the LCQ to get into this position. And we see here at the moment, looks like everyone feeling good so far today as they go. I'm curious to really watch here how this top 10 shape up as we go. The number 10 of Hayden Lawson holding the lead as we continue along and through here, trying to just see what can happen. Under review, the 033 at the moment. We'll see exactly what comes out of that review here for the Sportsman main event. Continuing along here, great battles up to the front for second place. The 10 of Lawson actually drops down into third as the 124 Taylor goes up, and Yusuf Adi says, thank you very much, 2-for-1 special. Don't mind if I do. I will take that second place for myself.
Yeah, that's actually O'Gara that took the second spot on the racetrack there. Adi took the fourth spot for good measure after originally being in third to start the lap after some shuffles. But the big thing about Taylor, remember, had issues in the final lap yesterday. Still, though, because of how well he did in the previous qualifying, and as well as the first heat, it didn't matter because he still finished second in the points metric by a sizable gap. Lawson was the only driver to score above 190. Taylor was one of just 3 drivers who scored points in the heat points within the 170s. That's how inconsistent between the 2 heats it was in some of the sportsman races yesterday.
Yeah, the sportsman races, if you missed it yesterday, you should go back and check it out after the features are done, because I tell you what, the sportsman races, they were some of the wildest ones that we've had here. Up the inside, the 63 goes for a pass right there, not able to make it stick. Yusuf Adi was trying. Somebody's around backwards in turn 1, and it looks like that is a bad place to be sitting, but I think we all go through, and red flag is out.
Yes, indeed, red flag. As crew members work to quickly get to work. Again, red flag situation. Lap 4 here on Kart Chaser CKNA Spring Nationals. Red flag situation here from Charlotte.
food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson threw on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Karting isn't just speed. It's control, precision, freedom. At Atlanta Motorsport Park, Kart Freedom isn't just a team. It's where drivers are made.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm gonna give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now, this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you on the next one.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation. Kart Sim Pro North America. featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data. Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Seen some motion, as you see, up on the grid. A few more discussions, but Haley, I believe you're standing by with some information.
Yeah, Justin, so I'm standing track. Got the drivers just single file on the track waiting to restart in single file. 2 laps have been completed, but as per the CKNA policy, since there was a red flag, 2 laps will be shaved off. Now our lap count is 16. Grace?
We are checking on the driver 103, Christian Liu, who was involved in the accident and is being viewed by the medical center. Now, we do know that he is awake and alert. However, we know that he is in great care because he is being taken care of by the AMR safety team, the official NASCAR safety team. So we have reason to believe that he might be okay. Back up to you guys.
Thank you very much, guys, as we continue on with the engines now getting fired up. Everybody ripping the cords so we can get going. Thumbs up from Jason Burgess to prepare for today's action. CKNA Spring Nationals continuing on, presented by ORP here from Charlotte. So, a little bit shorter distance to think about broadly for the battles themselves, but chance to regroup for a couple competitors here for when we get back going. Taylor, O'Gara, Lawson, Audi amongst top 4 here.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting one to watch get through. We'll go out single file here for the restart. They get sent away, and the big thing to note is that they had a few laps under the belt. So this is going to be a moment of really just getting things back in the mental shape, and you see them sending it through and saying, hey, back over and around, single file through. Make sure you go down the chute to turn 7 and then come back around onto the front stretch here as they'll come through, shave it up. We'll see which tram line. They put them on the inside tram line, and they'll get single file up. Will we get the green flag this time by? Let's see how they do. They're getting the slowdown signal. A couple carts still to form in line. Let's see here. And green flag, we are back out racing. Several carts jump out through position, and everyone making their way through. A little bit of contact there in the back end of the top 10, but everyone through 1 and 2 this time.
A little bit of aggression at the back of the field. We'll keep an eye if there's any issues in the tram lines from those jump outs. Already some distances building up amongst the front of the field. Taylor and O'Gara still holding on to 1 and 2. Carolyn in 3rd spot. First battles pop up here. You see drivers such as Hall. We seen pretty racy earlier, really carving his way up a couple spots there off the jump. Also Audi able to get in front of Lawson on the switch around. Already signals back and forth coming up to 14-15.
Keep an eye on this and see how this plays out, because it's going to be a challenge from everyone now to get this going. Taylor in the front holding on here. O'Gara there was in 2nd. Going to drop down the order here through. Yusuf Adi gets a pass done. Great move as they go through. And now it is Hayden Lawson into 4th position. Camila Kanash into P5. Anderson Hemphill in 6th. They come through in 7, and now they go towards 8. You see the clear signal from O'Gara. Let's get moving, and let's get ahead.
Getting himself forward on the charge right now. They worked their way for the first quarter of this race. O'Gara talked about his experience with the open wheel path. Right now trying to find an open opportunity to make some moves here. O'Gara in particular for the course of this one. It's been pretty sporty over the course of the entire weekend, because remember, when it comes to the heat race, he's been a top 5 contender in both the races, has been able to keep himself up front in his blue and white machine. Now the problem is, he's going to have to figure out, can he find a way around Audi and then charge back up to Taylor, because Taylor is doing what we've seen yesterday before the last lap issues for the 124 run away a bit.
Yeah, for Taylor, this needs to be a redemption moment and just run away and run along. Let's see here where this can go. Adi, O'Gara, and Lawson there in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, respectively. 5th place there of Kanash will try to make a move through. We'll see if that gap can close, because there is a little bit of a gap there. And then further back again, another gap to the MGM cart of Hemphill, who is in P6. Everyone really trying to just keep their momentum through, keep their pace along, and keep things through. Taylor's, the gap's closed a little bit here as we head towards turn 5, and now through 6-7 we go, and the 63, the 67, and the 10 all closing that gap still to Taylor. Let's see how it goes.
especially with how these races can go absolutely here. Keeping pretty close right now. Last time by, remember, they were 10th quicker on the close-up, but it was the fastest on the racetrack. Fastest lap is Logan McCluskey, who's running down to the 9th position right now. We'll see how close the 2 car gets. For example, coming up to lap 7 to start this time through, though. Pretty patient after the red flag situation. No major lunges like we originally seen before the red flag situation. These drivers taking the field a little bit more cautiously compared to some of the races here today. Remaining patient, especially for these youngsters. Patience is a virtue, and that's going to help you long-term in your racing career.
Yeah, patience is a virtue, as you said, and right now, these are the drivers who are really trying to form it, but sometimes that virtue is very much tested here as we go through. Remember, for the sportsmen, this is ages 10 to 13 coming through this track, 265 pounds combined kart and driver weight as they go through. Still a little bit reduction on the power here with this Briggs & Stratton engine, so we'll see here what these 206 karts can do as they go through. Here in the sportsman, little bit of a look there. Yusuf Adi a little bit out of line that time coming out of 2. O'Gara, Lawson not able to capitalize. Adi not losing any pace there, but Taylor not gaining any gap either as they come through. And you see Taylor dipping the helmet down, trying to get as much slipstream as possible, putting the helmet down against the wheel to try to find some pace here as 2nd, 3rd, 4th still try to chase down our race leader. They close the gap a bit better through 10 and 11 that time. Let's see what happens here as they come out towards turn 1.
Let's find out if anyone's able to pop out. Taylor's continuing to pop ahead. Pretty quick throughout the course of the day. Remember, in sportsmen, when it comes to these karts, we had 3 different winners in 3 races. Remember the Winter Nationals? It ended up going to Hemphill originally in that race with Audi in the drag race. Audi would really like to make up for what was a penalization at the end of that race that seen him shuffled instead down to the 9th position in the running order. You change that up after a race like this today, it could be a huge confidence booster. Give a shout out as well to some of the other drivers as they charge. Ruben Greer, haven't mentioned him much all weekend, it seems here, Bradley. Talked about his connections with the charity side. He's pushing pretty far so far amongst this pack to be able to join some of the conversations late in the day.
Yeah, Ruben Greer currently sitting in P9, 5.5 seconds off of the leader as they come across the line here. But Greer should be able to start pushing and trying to find some closure on that gap. It is a big gap, but it's not an impossible gap to close in that Nitro kart as we go through and along. Check out the 6, 7, and the 10. O'Gara, Lawson battling it through there in 2nd and 3rd. And you see the clear hand signals, the clear indications. They have broken away from Yusuf Adi. They are wanting to go chase down Taylor and see if they can't put their karts on the top here in the run. 6 laps to go.
Still a lot of time to tick away up on the board here. Right now, O'Gara, last time by, checking on the times, staying about even in terms of lap count compared to Taylor. Right now, 42, rather, they're running about really quick times, what I'm trying to say, in the 44, 46% second wrap around 48.1, should rather say. Checking in terms of the one thing here, when it comes to the analytical side, when it comes to the series, you have the ability, check in on that. Speaking of checking in, they do have rain tires on hand just in case those clouds start to strike.
Rain tires on the ready for everyone on the grid right now. It doesn't mean that they're going to take them. It is still their option of what tires they go on. There has been no official announcement from CKNA that you have to be on the wets. It is driver option tire conditions. So they pick, you're either running the dries that you've ran all weekend, or if you really wanted to be crazy and slap on a set of wets, if you thought the track was wet enough. But I'll tell you right now, looking at the radar, I don't see that there's anything forming up unless the drivers have a vision that I don't. I don't see that we really have any bad rain in the area. It looks like the worst has passed us. I think it's just doom and gloom right now sitting through, unless something different is going on here as the battle up front continues to rage. O'Gara, Lawson, they've closed up that gap to Taylor. Now, Taylor on the challenge of defending all weekend. That is going to be the big problem here, is what can you do to defend?
Of course, big race if you're the Warren family. Touched upon this during the end of warm-ups today. Of course, along with the terminal cancer case situation. See, though, very happy and preparing for what's going to be a busy race for him. Going to be amongst the front runners expected over the course of this final. But coming up towards 3 laps to go. 3 karts with an opportunity. Austin Taylor, Danny O'Gara, Hayden Lawson. Something, anything to get a run is important, to do something to break this up. Because there goes O'Gara on the breakup, able to move up to the race lead. Pressure is on. Ding, ding, it's time to battle.
Here we go, ring the bell, get it going. We're gonna get a pass back up through the inside. Here we go, yet again, Austin Taylor coming over as they cross the line. You see, looking here at the start-finish line, trying to see where things go, and that 6-7 card of O'Gara down into 3rd place now, Lawson into 2nd, and Austin Taylor was passed through turn 8, now is back up into the front here as they come through turn 7, that 124. Able to get in a great position here. We'll see what happens. And the 10 and the 6-7, they look at each other, and you see the clear hand signal. Get back up there. But it's one thing when you try that and you lose that, and now it's a gap. You got to close it again. Go for it again. You got to make the move stick when you make it. When you get the opportunity and you make it, it has to stick.
And right now, if you want an opportunity, you better go. Lawson in the parallel, trying to dig. Coming to 2 laps to go. The gap much larger than the previous time because of those pass attempts. 4/10, nearly 5/10 of a second. O'Gara going to ride for now. Taylor runs his way on through in front, looks behind, sets up once again, up through 6, up through 7, as they march their way on through. Now it's the tough part. Can they get close enough in time? By the way, Kemi still holds on to 4th. Hall has charged up to the top 5 in the air pack.
Yeah, that gap massive back behind them. Over 3 seconds the gap from the top 3 back. So, but is 3 seconds enough of a gap to let them battle into the final lap? Who's to say? It's not me. As they come through, they'll come across the line. Again, the 10 giving the clear indication. Hayden Lawson wants to go for the win and would like Danny O'Gara to help get there as they go through turns 1 and 2. It's a clean run through into 3. Left-hander of 4 and 5 now they go. Everyone holding along here. As they head down onto the backstretch out of turn 7, that gap is the largest I think I've seen it in several laps now. Half a second. The tuck from Taylor trying to keep it closed. Can Taylor hold on to this gap through half a lap?
Just has to make no mistakes in the MPG Motorsports Kart Republic. Just has to march around. Battles going on as well. You see below in the battle for 4th position. For the Indianapolis, Indiana-based driver, Austin Taylor's controlled things all weekend. Lawson and O'Gara battling out for 2nd, but it's going to be Taylor who gets the Sportsman win here in Charlotte.
And O'Gara snatches 2nd place from Lawson right at the very end by 43 1/1000ths of a second. And then it's Camila Kanash who comes across in P4. Ryan Hall, y'all, up in 5th place, and Anderson Hemphill in P6. Yusuf Adi from Steel Motorsports in P7, and then the 2 Nitro karts, Ruben Greer and Jackson Brewster, 8th and 9th. Jackson Darnell and Timmy Tech in P10 here.
Yeah, Pulaski then finished down 11th. Tanner Gonzalez in the Marquez in 12th. Davidson, the Timmy Tech in 13th. Erwin McCloskey in the top 15th. Then Willie, followed by Alexander Dwyer, Bell, Rowans amongst the top 20. Plenty of other competitors mixed on in outside the top 20 of note. 4 in Schneider actually finished down 27-28. The drop back for the 104. Mikey Todd, one of the competitors out in Florida when it came to the Winter Nats, was amongst those the back also. A tough break after a top 5 run out in Jacksonville. But the
Such
field
a great
itself
run here as we see.
Yep.
Austin Taylor going over the scales. Austin Taylor down with Haley. Let's send it down.
Austin, we can see the excitement on your face. A crowd's starting to build for people cheering for you. You've been hugging your friends. You pulled off early yesterday because you thought that it was the last lap. We saw the devastation in your actions, and now you've won it today. How are you feeling right now?
The Kart Republic's been fast all weekend. Honestly, I'm just speechless.
Who would you like to thank for this win? Who helped you get it done?
All my sponsors, my dad, my mom, MPG Motorsports, Kart Republic, and yeah.
Well, I won't hold you any longer. I'll let you go celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's get Austin Taylor. He had speed all weekend long. You could argue, Bradley, hard to beat him throughout much of the weekend, but now he gets to say he's a Spring Nats winner.
Yeah, a huge win there from Austin Taylor. And again, another person who wins and is speechless. I love that. I love seeing what these wins mean to all these drivers through. And of course, going through and looking, again, Haley brought it up, but after yesterday, the heartbreak of yesterday and the moment of yesterday, well, it boiled down, it got a win, and now we get to shift gears. One last dance, Justin. One last dance, one last to go, and we'll see how this one ends up.
So it's Steel Senior Medium to close out the day, the big show. 50 karts in the field. Remember when it came to Winter Nationals earlier this year, Colin Warren was the one who got the win over Henry Willer and Owen Lloyd. Some of those same names just mentioned are in the conversation up towards the front for this one. So we'll find out where some of the best are able to shake up in this one. A couple of karts parallel parking at the moment. You can see the back of the field, but the front of the field about to get the command to go racing here. There were two drivers when it came to the heat races who were keys to the model of consistency, and they're even it on heats, respectively. Warren and McKeithen. They both had a near identical heat score of 194.99 for Warren, 194.97 for McKeithen. Those two are models of speed here, Bradley, that are going to be tough to slow down, because the same case can be said for Thek and Zimmerman and their consistency. Now they're paired together, and we know this could be a sparring match.
You got to talk about the rest of the big names out of the top 10 as well. Austin Speck, Sam Tutwiler, Eli Fox, Owen Lloyd we've talked about several times this weekend. Looking out of the top 10 in P12, you've got Levi Getz. P11 is Carter Kilgo. Sam of Trusky is right there in the mix in P10. I mean, you've got heavy hitters up and down this grid that we have talked about time and time again. They're rolling. Senior medium time is here, Justin.
Cup Karts North America action getting really geared up here. Up at the front, it's Colin Warren, Christopher McKeithen, who starts on the front row. Lucas Thek picked up a win in one of the air classes earlier, looks to get 2 out of 3. Cale Zimmerman alongside top 4.
Moving on from there, we go P5, Eli Warren, Austin Speck in the MGM kart in P6, Sam Tutwiler in the Steel, and Eli Fox in P8.
P9, Sam Tutwiler is in that spot, or rather Owen Lloyd should rather say. Then you have Sam Vronsky, who will start in the 10th position here today. 11th in the order, you go down to Carter Kilgo, followed alongside by Levi Getz in a PPK.
Moving on from there, we go Brady Atwood, Kelvin Jean, Jordan Klein, and Randall Potter. One of the Roderick Racing Development drivers can repeat what the boss man did earlier. We'll find out.
Jackson Young, we've seen pretty fierce battles from him amongst the top 10 throughout the day. Brock Knowles will be alongside him on the start. Addison Ianello already hard charger in one class, looking to do it with the Ganuzzi in the top 20. We continue on. There's a lot of big names back here, though, Bradley, keep in mind.
Yeah, looking back here, P28, Sawyer St. Clair. That's one to watch. The Comet Car of Connor Baker. That's going to be one to watch as well. You want to watch Jake Drew. You want to watch Cameron Reed. Really, any of these drivers you want to take a look on. Sobiek, of course, in 36th as well. As they come through, they hit the tram lines. Let's get ready to see how this one plays out.
So we get set to go for our final of the CKNA Spring Nationals. They get the chance to celebrate a NASCAR victory lane after this. Let's find out who gets the final win. Side by side to start as they rumble through one of the green. Warren couldn't clear McKeithen. McKeithen instead gets the flow. 3 and 4 wide in through 3.
First time we've seen the outside line really get any rhythm here on the race start as they go through, still side by side together. One cart off into the inside of 7, 2 carts off to the outside of 7, back outside of the top 10. There's tons of fireworks coming through, but up in the front, it's pretty as you please. Keep it together and keep it moving on the track. They're looking to charge early on against McKeithen and Colin Warren, see what they can get away with, and we'll see how this battle shapes up as they go.
They'll shape things up as much as they can. Lloyd getting pressured, but McKeithen has Warren already saying, inside please, I'll take the move. Problem is, McKeithen's got the preferred run for 3, yet again had to settle in. Zimmerman, the driver who picked up the Grand's final win last year at mediums, rides off in the popcorn seat, all while McKeithen, the 3-time Grand's winner, will have to battle the multi-time winner of Warren. Star Power Unite up at the front.
211 there of Warren gets up into the front in that blue and yellow cart, and the 19, apologies, of McKeithen right there in the mix as well. That 505 Zimmerman sitting P3 and going through. Watch out for 4th place there of Eli Fox, who will try to close the gap and will close the gap. How many carts can we get in the big conga line, in the crazy train? Well, right now, if you look, it's all of the top 10 and then some coming through at least as they go. I mean, this is going to be a great run to watch because the more these top 3 battle, the more it invites 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th to continue to close through. So as we come through turn 7 now, down the back stretch we go, the top 3 need to make a decision. Are they going to fight? Are they going to work? And right now for Christopher McKeithen, it's a case of let's fight.
McKeithen able to fight his way up to the front of the field. As a result, Warren stays behind with Zimmerman waiting. Fine. Eli Fox doing well in the top 5. We mentioned Warren's story earlier today. He's amongst those in this train, 2 in the pink card, amongst the top 10 as we go. But it's still very early. Right now, the tone being set for some teamwork. Going to be potential for Warren and Zimmerman. Some of the others looking to make things skyrocket. Lloyd all the way back to the edge of the top 10 with how things shuffled here.
Continuing to shuffle along, though, you got to wonder for Owen Lloyd, if he's the fastest cart on track, how quickly can he work his way from? Because that's going to be what's really going to be interesting to watch here for them as they go through and continue forward. Everyone peeking over the shoulder, trying to figure out who's going for what. Can they defend? Can they trust the person behind? This is really the case. This is the final run here of the weekend. This is the last chance, the last dance. This is where make it count or you have a bad time here. Over the shoulder, McKeithen looks. Warren looking over the shoulder at the same time at Zimmerman. So those top 3, they know what they're looking at behind. There's a dive down the inside. That is the number 25 of Obtrusky going under the number 2 of Speck to move up into P6.
Right now, they are still trying to work around like slot cars. That's all I can say here in the midst of this. There's the signal, though, you expect, though, from Fox and company. You've seen, we have to go. We have to work together to find a way to chip away. We know with the way this package here is hard to be able to chip away, and it's really hard when you do swaps like this. If you don't do it efficiently, we've seen it on a weekend here, Bradley, you lose time. Second, this case, able to jump as the lead cart. But do you think he's got the pace here to make the moves, especially some of the other draft mates busy squabbling?
This battle is going to continue along through and just keep going. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy to watch. I cannot believe what is happening here on the front of the field. I genuinely thought we were going to see everyone sort of settle into a battle and not see anyone break away. I really thought with what we've seen today, we were just going to see constant scraps for the lead, but no, the top 3 going through 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, they've lost 1.3 seconds right now to the top, and it continues along while they go. I'm just really, really waiting to see if the top 3 put themselves in a position if they start battling and things close up.
You see the penalty flag pop up. There is 1 penalty bulletin. We can confirm that's come through right now. That is involving Jake Drew. Also, we also had Reed and Ickhoff just have an issue. They've fallen down around the edges of the top 25 with their situation. But the Drew situation, failure to leave room on the opening lap in a battle with the 013. Will have to finish behind said Kart of Brock Knowles 24th. Regardless, Drew, regardless, is 31st in that situation. Everybody else has kept pretty clean to themselves here, even with the side-by-side we see in the opening sector.
Yeah, that opening sector side-by-side continuing to just shape the run here because everyone's looking for a move as they go. P1, 2, 3, the gap now 1.5 seconds back to Thek in 4th. And you can see there, Thek and Fox trying to work their way together, trying to find a way to close up the gap and move forward. It's really just a case of, do they have enough time? We're only on lap 8 of 18. There's 10 laps to go. I would be surprised if they couldn't close that gap up.
Right now, see that with Lloyd yet again, trying to shuffle. It's been a little bit of a battle today on the long run. Have to wonder what the Vegas have done. Durable tires, should say. Off Spec, who was a contender in the Thek and Spec show all throughout yesterday through the heat races. Just not able to replicate that same aggressiveness compared to what we've seen, especially with the cooler conditions under the lights. Today, just having to find a way to stay in sync. He's the highest one of the MGMs in terms of the MGM logos on your pylon.
Yeah, the MGM logos here, of course, seeing them through the pylon. We talked to them yesterday, and we know what this race means for them on the weekend here as they go along and continue through. It's been a very, very good weekend for everyone here as they go. Every team is going to have something successful to take and write home about and talk about. So, been a good weekend here in Charlotte for everyone as they go here. We're watching the 119 of Lloyd, and with Spec behind the number 2. Trying to hold along. They're trying to close up to Fox and Thek, and then they would like to all work together and close up to these 3 up in the front. McKeithen, Warren, Zimmerman. See if they can do so. Last time over, fastest lap of anyone was the leader of Christopher McKeithen here as we get the halfway signal.
Halfway through, and so far pretty tame. This top 3 looks pretty steady with their choices right now. McKeithen getting to lead the laps right now as we go. Though Spec is fighting, still trying to push down Lloyd. The front runners have really built a cushion. You're 2 seconds already. What they've been able to do, stayed together. EBK up at the front, the 2 teammates of Warren and Zimmerman stay in sync also. That 211 machine, and once the VORs looking for when the chances to go. Remember yesterday, though, Bradley, the big thing is we know Warren could make a bold move. If he's not in second spot, there's still a chance he can do it. Remember yesterday, he was able to take advantage of side-by-side for the lead, make the pass on the outside instead. We've seen with Zimmerman previously the races also, but Warren in one of those races too in the heat, then also drove by as they fought for the race lead in 14 and 15. He can set something up pretty interestingly amongst these senior classes here if he chooses the right spot for the move.
Yeah, he's got to choose the right spot, though. That is the key thing that you said in that sentence, is he's got to choose the right spot, because what we've seen time and time again, moment on moment, is the wrong spot hurts so much more. So it's all about setting it up right. The patience is going to come into play here through this senior medium main event. It's going to come to play through these final laps as we go through the final 6 laps of this race here. The patience. Look over the left shoulder for Zimmerman. He's trying to see how much gap they have because he's calculating right now and thinking, okay, if I start taking this charge, it slows all of us down. If it slows all of us down, how much time do we have? Zimmerman, fastest of anyone last time over. He's just sitting here. He's calculating. He's thinking. Justin, this is one of those moments where, as a kart driver, you've got to really lock the brain in and think about it more so than just hitting your marks. This is where you really need to have that track knowledge locked in, so you can start to let the brain think about the strategy of what you're doing.
Right now, we're seeing that thinking really coming to play too with the other packs. Rotsky will still holding on the 8th position with Warren in that pack. By the way, Tutwiler's in their own pack for the top 10 with Getz. Kilgo also in that range with Klein. won some of the other battles. By the way, if you're wondering, who is your biggest mover so far in the hard charger? Brady Shad is it. Remember, LCQ situation, to give a shout out to that card, to be able to recover to 23rd is an understatement of a decent run. We know Shad had winning speed, or top 10 speed at least, over the course of the weekend. Just didn't have the luck to replicate that. Able to get himself as high as he can to try and finish up with a smile.
Yeah, he's really been running through, and Shad up into 23rd. It's a beautiful run there for him as it goes. So that is the one to write home on, getting in an LCQ and then just how many spots can you gain. It's amazing to see Shad there. And here we go. Now we're starting to see some conversation starters happen here. Some conversation runs. You see Tutwiler kind of saying, guys, what are we doing? Why are we battling? We should be pushing to go forward. You going side by side slows us down. But again, it's one of those of, at what point can you just afford to sit and follow side by side, or can you get forward? It's kind of the interesting spot that you find yourself in.
Right now, for the most part, we've seen how calm things are. Jake Drew has had 3 different penalties stacked up, not just the one from earlier now. They also have a couple others on lap 5 of the 325 that picked up some penalties. 22 in the old 42. Also, picked up track cutting penalties, stack ups for the course of this run. So, as things stay calm, if you're around Zane Company, you've been around a few drivers who are getting a bit antsy, saying, I kind of want to get higher than where I'm at now, because it says a lot on my ability if I'm in the top 10 compared to the top 30 in a field like this.
Yeah, this is one of those that you're padding the stat book depending on what position you're in. You're really looking, because everyone looks a bit different at a top 10 or a top 5 than they do at, say, a top 15, top 20. If you can say, I finished top 5 at CKNA Spring Nats, makes a big difference here. So as we watch these battles continue, it really does become a position of what do you want to say your run was. For Thek right now and Fox, they are battling it out. And you see everyone looking over the shoulder at the next group of 2 carts behind here as we go through lap 16 of 18. Look at the speed they carry through turn 8 there on the inside. That really tells you just how fast that corner is. Much faster than it looks here from the camera when you get down trackside with it. Great camera shot there.
1/10 of a second difference last time by on the speed. We'll see where the interval stacks up this time. Look at the front though. Zimmerman did take a staker out with 2 laps to go. Looked like he tried something a little bit, didn't work out maybe. With Colin Warren staying in the 2nd spot. McKeithen still logging the lead laps. Would it be shocked to see the defensive line through turn 8? Yes, he's already on it. Warren having to fade out to the outside, try the long distance, coming up to 9, side by side. Warren stays alongside. Warren tries to get the edge. Here comes Zimmerman trying to look for the outside. McKeithen holds on, coming towards the white flag.
How did McKeithen hold that is my question. That was an amazing run there for them as we go through. Here we go into 14. There is the run around. You see now Warren and Zimmerman battling here as McKeithen tries to hold on. White flag, 1 lap to go. It's a dive into turn 1. The 19 leads, and again, the 505 trying to make that run through. Zimmerman trying to do something here, and there it is, continuing through, but it's not done yet. Look over the shoulder, into 6-7 we go, and at the moment, McKeithen leads side by side into 6 and 7. We haven't seen this before, and Zimmerman's gonna go through 3 wide. They're bumping wheels. They're going along here into turn 8. It's half a lap to go, Justin, and this is the hardest fight we've seen out of anyone right now. 5 carts now in line.
The Grands winner from last September looking to hold on in front. Zimmerman works his way through the final corners. Will Warren try and make the drive? Looks inside. Warren backs off the brakes. Gets into a battle for second. Once again, Cale Zimmerman in CKNA Racing comes out on top.
McKeithen with the heartbreak there, and you saw the instant reaction over the line. Thek in 3rd, Warren in 4th, Eli Fox in 5th, and Speck in the MGM finds P6, the top MGM cart. The South Georgia karting of Owen Lloyd in P7, and then the 25 in P8, Eli Warren, the 97 in 9th, and the 604 MGM cart in P10.
What a finish. It's Zimmerman who's able to get the edge, got the fastest lap also. And what else can you say? That was about the perfect timing to set things up in terms of the opportunities for the final lap. There it is. Warren congratulating him on the run here too. Warren still comes away with a good run. They battled so hard. Thek, you've seen there, you mentioned, closed up to them in all of that, Bradley.
Yeah, that, again, when the battle started, it closes everything up. And if you didn't have 5-6 seconds, it didn't make a difference here as the final results scroll through. Kelvin Jing up at the P12, Levi Getz into 14th, Henry Wheeler 15th, Jordan Klein up there in 13th. Again, some hard chargers in the back of the field, drivers that got into the LCQ that ran their way all the way along. We have to talk about them. I mean, what an amazing run here. Henry Wheeler, hard charger of the day, up 26 places.
As we've done, Emerson going to go back to the workshop. Some of the drivers for the LCQ going to come on the way ahead. What a finish for your race win here today. Just waiting on the scales to hear from your top competitors. What else can you say? You know, when you have Kale Zimmerman, you're going to have a strong run, and we've seen Zimmerman be good in CKNA competition since that run up from last fall. Now, adds a Spring Nats trophy to the mix.
Kale, you started this weekend with absolutely zero experience on this racetrack, and you come home with a victory in senior medium. How does it feel?
Unbelievable, to be honest. You know, like I said, it's first time back in a go-kart in a while, and yeah, just unbelievable. Colin, me, and Chris drove a really patient race. Nothing really happened until the last few laps. He blocked really well, but VLR comes out on top here.
And tell me about that final lap. How were you able to take advantage of McKeithen and get the win?
He kind of overblocked, and him and Colin kind of got together a little bit, just had better momentum, and I was able to roll around the outside, and I kind of just let Colin do the defense for me, and I knew that either it was me or him that was going to win.
And of course, who do you want to thank?
VLR, TS Racing, Reserve Motorsports. Caleb G was a big help this weekend. Of course, my dad, my mom, my grandpa, they've been here the whole way. Miranda, Jeff Shaw, Faster Motors, great power. Yeah, there's plenty more that I would love to thank, but you know, that's a lot.
There you have it, Kale Zimmerman. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kale Zimmerman coming away with the top step here today. Celebrations on here tonight. But Bradley, that closes out this year's running of the CKNA Spring Nationals. Quick final thoughts as these drivers get ready to celebrate.
I almost am speechless myself as some of our winners today. This has been amazing running. It's been an amazing weekend. It's been great to watch through, and I cannot believe that it's all over when it's said and done. America's home for racing. I tell you what, you got to give some room for some go-karts because doggone, that's good racing all the way through.
On that note, these drivers will go and celebrate some podiums, but we are just about complete here. We're happy that you've watched along with tonight's coverage and this weekend's coverage. CKNA Spring Nationals presented here throughout the weekend for tonight's action. We're happy to have you with us once again and have been here from Charlotte. For Bradley Johnson, for everyone over at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Chris Overbeck and Haley Donaldson, a part of those on the pit crew side. I'm Justin Brent saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your day. You've been watching the CKNA Spring Nationals here from Kart Chasers Coverage.
Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the images, audio, or accounts of this event, in whole or in part, without the express written consent of Kart Chaser Group LLC is strictly prohibited. Thanks for watching.